waiting to get started. First, it's the Costanza. Okay, people are coming in. Hello, everybody. Matt Weiner, Meow Mail, Stu Tube, Navura Barkley, Chris Roseni, Teddy, F12. Okay, everybody's here on this afternoon in Pennsylvania. 5 minutes to 5 o'clock. It is currently 78 degrees in the mid-state. Clear traffic moving on Interstate 78 and the Turnpike Northeast Extension 476. Forecast tomorrow is cloudy, high of 74, low 53. Slight chance of showers in the afternoon, 10%. Winds south-southwest at 3 miles an hour. Stu Tube. Our first super chat question, jumping in here right away. That is, so it just says, roast my Pontiac G8. I drive a Pontiac G8. My dad's a cop. Pontiac G8, the single car that's keeping ProCharger in business. You think it's great, and then you run into a sloppily made turbo LS from, Matt Happel, who I think I'm going to hang out with this weekend. If you notice, the green chair is empty. Nick isn't here today, but we're joined in a few minutes by Justin Burnash, and I can hear myself talking off of. He's setting it up on my main computer. Justin, if you look over, you're going to see a black remote somewhere on the table. You can just mute the speakers. It's just a TV remote. Got it. There we go. Thank you. And we're going to be talking about MR2s and associated JDM goodness, and my new love for the 4th gen 3S GTE, aka Caldina motor. And I was just thinking about today, what would it be like in a Falcon? Like, how many different things can you put that in? Because I experienced it once before in AW11, but I was more paying attention to the car and not the engine. And that 3S GTE is everything you want in an STI engine, but assembled logically, and way less prone to just popping itself off all the time. Oh yeah. We're also going to be getting into Scotch today. We have 2 to sample. Oh, Josh Clark, no question, but thank you for the $1.50. Stu Tube says, Scotty Kilmer impression, go. I like Scotty Kilmer. He's a fun dad type character. But I don't have round sunglasses here. I just have to say, and my hair doesn't flop forward and backward as he does it. I'm Scotty. Like, I'd have to do it really, really loud because he's always yelling. I'm Scotty Kilmer. Don't buy anything that only buy Toyotas from 1991. Everything else is crap. Never buy a Lexus. Anybody who buys luxury cars is throwing their money away. Don't buy turbos ever. Don't buy stuff with electronic throttles. Only mechanical throttles. Here's a promo for some sort of USB reader. Or, Justin, are you going through my bookmarks? Are you going through my search history?
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not. How do you clear history? I can't get the messenger one to work.
What's not working?
It needs to log in. It's connected to Facebook, so it needs to log in with all that. So
oh.
Don't worry about that one. The email one's out though.
Okay. Anyway, welcome everybody. We have Justin Burnash. You remember Justin Burnash before, the founder and CEO?
Co-founder, co-owner.
Co-owner of Prime Driven, the Amazon.com for MR2 parts. Just moved into his new shop, waiting on the lifts, I think, still.
First one just went in.
Oh, nice.
Second one's coming in next week.
So you're going to have... They're going to have to be a staggered setup. So one's going to be in the back and the other one's going to be
straight in stack. That way you can, anytime you have one in the front lift, you could just run that lift up, drive a car right through.
Oh, okay.
And then the rear lift will be like really the longer term stuff.
Okay.
Which is not really much of these days, but you know, like a long-term project car or something like that.
Herman Henderson, and those who don't know, get in the know. Prime Driven is everything you could possibly want for MR2s. Every single part he can get his hands on, and even stuff that he'd have to search for, as well as... Is hoarding the right word when it comes to body panels, or...
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, a hard body panel, a fender or a trunk lid or a wing, those we keep just for when we need them to bring someone else's car back to life.
Okay.
Like that either they've come to us, you know, for like a super secret build.
Okay.
Or we need it for a giveaway car.
Okay.
So like the giveaway car comes in, it's got a dented fender.
Right.
You know, that would be abnormal, but normally we buy like perfect body cars as donors, but eventually that may not always be an option.
I'm getting 2 windows out for our chat, so we can have one on Super Chat and then the other on regular, so I can see both of them at the same time. So, there we go. It's the middle of the day here in Pennsylvania, so you will be hearing all the Harley guys going by. Occasionally a sport bike, but mostly Harleys. So that's going to be in the background going on in this. Herman Henderson says, can you see the screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. Herman Henderson says, for dang old Texas and my yee ass haircut. I have no idea what that means. Oh, he's talking about Scotty Kilmer. Something. Anyway. So we have 2 scotches to get into to help us work through these MR2 questions. And which do you want to start with? The Glenfiddich or the Tomatin?
Since the Tomatin was your choice, I think we should start with that.
Okay. So as we go through this, if at any time any question you see popping up, feel free to just shout it out.
Oh yeah, we got one already.
An MR2 question?
Yes. Mr. Queasy, where are all the post-93 SW20s, none for sale anywhere? Yes, that's correct. The post-93 cars, in terms of number, you know, in 93, they only made, we'll just go ahead and call it 6,000. It's really not. But let's just go ahead and call it 6,000, half of them, which would have been turbos, roughly. Out of that, 3,000 turbos, maybe half of them left. I don't know if even that many. 94, 95 combined, you didn't even have 2,000 cars.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the 95s were just left over 94, so there wasn't anything different about them, but it was the last production year, you know, that was imported into America, so that's why they carry a little bit of a premium, but not much over a 94, because it is the identical car. But if you want a really, really nice one, Mr. Queasy, you are going to have to, you know, spend north of 15 grand for a stock car.
Wow.
Modified car, you might be able to get a little bit cheaper because they don't command the same kind of collector money that the 94 pluses do. But yeah, I mean, bring a trailer. You'll see ones go for big money, eBay every now and then. But the reality is they really are not out there. If we find one, we'll buy it and then find a use for it. But we search the entire country year round, and maybe a handful of 94 or 95 turbos are going to come up for sale in that time. But shoot us an email at primeperformanceauto@gmail.com or hop on the website, primedriven.com. Fill out a contact us form if you're looking for one. Let us know, and we'll see if maybe if we find one, we can help you get hooked up.
Testing. Okay, I'm just concerned with audio. We are both pretty much level. And so this is Tomatin. Before, cheers, mate.
In a champagne glass.
Right, this is what I got.
The only way.
I gotta go to the restaurant store to get proper Scotch glasses. This is bourbon and virgin oak cases.
Casks.
Highland.
Yeah.
What did I say? Cases?
Yeah.
Casks. Sorry. Tomatin, Highland single malt, Scotch whiskey, a middle shelf brand. I enjoy the sharp finish at the end.
That's not bad.
Thank you.
Pretty sweet.
Thomas Light. Thank you so much for your donation. Opinion on a V8 swap 1991 Ford Ranger. That's pretty common to do. When you say V8, I'm assuming Windsor block, because that's during the time period when the Windsor block was still in production. For most cars, Ford stopped making the Windsor block in 1993 and switched primarily over to the 4.6 modular. Although the Windsors existed for some time after that in very specific cases, maybe some trucks, and the very first test mules of the SN95 Mustang were running 5.0 Windsors. And you talk about cars, they were sold. You could get them. And there are a few rolling around, and they command a hefty price. Up there with the Cobras.
Really?
Just because, that's a 5.0. And
that's rare.
Yeah, small block Ford.
I've never seen one of those in a car.
If you want a V8 swap, a 91 Ranger, it's fine. Thomas Little says, yeah, it's a 5.0 swap. I built it when I was 15. There you go. It's great. I was riding in a Ranger just a few hours ago. 3 people in the cab. I sold my 2013 Suzuki DR650 dual sport motorcycle to a nice young man from Quakertown. And he and his dad came up. We agreed on a price. We went to Deer Lake Auto. Shout out to them. It's a Subaru specialty shop. They sell used Subarus, but they test every single set of head gaskets that comes in there. And if it needs to be changed, they change them. So, and right now there is a fresh 2003 Subaru Baja sitting on their lot. It has 103,000 miles on it. Dang. New head gaskets, clean interior, leather, and it's the two-tone yellow and gray, like the gray bumpers, yellow body.
It's the first color I saw them in when they came out. I always have a little bit of a soft spot for the first color exposure.
No one liked them when they came out. Everybody thought, I hated them. That's like, this is stupid. And now people are paying, like MR2s, over 10 grand for some of these things.
Crazy. It's probably a $1,500 car like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like the same car.
2 years ago, I'd say more, but they started to come up.
Well, I guess a nice Subaru is always worth money.
I don't know.
It's a Subaru, but
I don't know when they started coming up.
But like a WRX, you can't buy a WRX of any vintage for less than like $7 grand. It isn't literally a pile of iron oxide, you know?
Yeah. They're asking price down there at Deer Lake is $9 grand. Right now, around here, no one's going to pay that. Like people want an old Subaru, they want sub 5,000 for a used Subaru, as they should. But they know they have a niche car there, and they're playing their deck, hoping that someone sees it who really wants it.
Yeah.
And the Subaru fan base is very close knit. So
yeah.
One of the weird things they have in their inventory is a CJ7 sitting over there with a 289 in it.
Interesting.
Which was a popular swap back in the day.
Yeah.
One
of my buddies had one. One of my buddies did a 4BT.
Is that a Mazda?
Is a 4-cylinder mechanical diesel from like I don't know what it was even out of. Something like heavy equipment wise. I don't know the handle, but Ketchup says, "Hey Justin, just got home from work. My new muffler for my Spyder was waiting for me. Damn, she looks nice. Thanks for all you do. MR2 Spyder headlights go. Oh, glad everything got there okay. Ketchup. Glad we could help a little bit. There was one earlier. I think it was Gin Man asked where we find the MR2s, the donors for the giveaways, and how we build them differently. Where we find them is all over the country, wherever we can find them. They have to be rock solid cars. They generally have to be very straight because we are not a paint and body shop. You know, we do mechanical. But yeah, I mean, we'll buy them from Washington State. We'll buy them from Texas. We'll buy them from Florida. We will not buy them from New England. For obvious reasons. And how do we make them different? That's one of the hard parts. You know, like we build what looks to most people the same car every time in terms of it's a 1991 to 1995 MR2 turbo. We'll switch up the motors. This time we did a Gen 4 with an upgraded turbo. We try to change up, you know, wings and stuff, but you know, it's MR2. It's not like we have a million different options to pick from. There's only a couple side skirts. There's only a couple wings. There's only a couple lips. You know, suspension, wheels, tires. Like wheels are one of the most obvious differences for most people. Color we try to, you know, mix up. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, the giveaway 7 ends this Sunday, the September 23rd. But giveaway number 8 is gonna be pretty sweet. But that's still obviously being built. But yeah, number 7 is the highest performance one we've done to date.
I drove that. You saw the video. That was fun. That's everything I wanted in a turbocharged 90s car. And I thought about, I'll get to 836 question in a second. But that was everything I wanted in a turbocharged car, and I started thinking about all the other things that engine could go into. Was the Caldina engine, did it only go in the Caldina? Was it used? Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was only in Japan, and then it was exported to Australia and New Zealand in moderately small numbers. So yeah, no, that's what was so interesting about it is when my business partner Brian engine. It made no sense. I always said it to customers when we were building cars for customers that it doesn't make any sense, but that was the beauty of 90s Toyota. Like they just did things because it was good. Yeah. You know, and then like, well, whatever. But the reality of that motor was it was like the ultimate iteration of the 3S GTE, and they put it in a 5-door station wagon. Yeah. It literally made no sense. But good news for us, because motor mounts don't change because it's still a 3S block. Nice. So whereas in the Mark 1, you got to do custom motor mounts, you got to do a bunch of other stuff. It's not supposed to be in there. In a Mark 2, a 3S is a 3S in terms of motor mounts. So it physically bolted in. My business partner Brian, when he first did it, that was 8 years ago maybe. Yeah. He just dropped one in, like basically got it to fire up, like had the wiring done and stuff, and then he was like, "This is like untouched bone stock boost, stock top mount intercooler." Yeah. And he's like, "And this is fantastic. What if we make this really fit in the MR, really work in the MR2?" So we went to work, you know, designing intercooler kits and, you know, downpipes and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy. It makes it drive like a modern turbo car. Like people who have driven Audi, Evos and Subaru, you know, STIs and stuff, you know, yes, those cars as cars drive differently. You know, they're much bigger, heavier all-wheel drive cars for sure. But as a motor, like you'd be hard pressed to beat up on the Gen 4 in terms of responsiveness. You know, 2,000 RPM spool, power almost all the way to redline. That's beautiful. You know, you drove the upgraded turbo, which does make power all the way to redline. Oh, that was so beautiful. Yeah, it makes a great noise. Oh, I love it. Not that much different than the stock turbo, just a little bit more. I loved it. 836's question. Thank you for the donation. And I have a question for you in a second. I just want to say shout out to Quinn Dickinson. I saw your question go up. You got a rock hit your windshield on Route 12. Sorry about that, man. That sucks any day of the week. 836 asks, 1967 Ford Bronco 289, the official car of no low ballers. I know what I have. Actually, that's when I do no ballers, I know what I have. It's someone who has a piece of shit and thinks they have something fantastic. It's someone who has an NA SW20. but it's no, a 67 Ford Bronco with a 289 is a nice car. It's crap if someone tried to turn into a rock crawler. Like all collector cars that are really cool now, the Broncos of the 60s, they were always disposable cars well into the 90s. You know, make your OJ jokes right now, but it's a official car of, well, you can take the roof off and go to the beach.
The tragedy of these collector trucks now is that they can never really be trucks and never can really be off-roaders, because their value is just too high. All they can do is drive on the street. The 1967 Ford Bronco 289, the official car of tire blocking the entire tire, even the tread for the car shows. Question for you, and it's my question, where do you gather your 4th gen or Gen 4 3S GTEs? When you
well, now, you can get them from any JDM engine importer.
Okay.
Almost any JDM engine importer. We have, a few that we use that after trying like 100 over the years, these are the 3 that never let us down.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, like, it's a used Toyota engine. Like, one guy doesn't have mint ones, the other guy has junk ones for the most part, with rare exception. There are obviously a handful of guys you don't want to buy from that you learn, by trial and error.
Any particular ones you want to give shout outs to?
Shout outs would be jdmvirginia.com. He is Mike. They used to be called Nagano. He's a great guy. He's supplied a lot of our engines. Probably, let's see, we probably built 300 Gen 4 cars over 5 years. He probably supplied a third of those engines. But he's definitely the standout.
Cool.
In terms of motors. But yeah, I mean, they're not, every now and then you will get one that's like, it's got some sludge in it. It's clearly a higher mileage motor.
Yeah.
You can only really tell over under on them. Like, the water pumps and the tensioners are dated. So if they're still dated 98, 99, 2000, then they're original, which means it's probably lower mileage because in Japan they change stuff at 60K even though they throw their cars away.
Really?
After 60, 80, 90K.
Wow.
But if it says like 07, then it's definitely over 60,000 miles. But you don't know how far over.
Okay.
But if it's nice and clean up top, it's not sludgy, it's just a little gold. Some of them are just super clean, like they have no miles on them.
Wow.
Like the car got totaled, 5 seconds, into it, just like in America.
Oh, yeah.
A guy buys a brand new WRX, throws it into a tree.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes the motor, 20 miles on it. I mean, it's not common, but maybe with the WRXs, but not with the Caldinas, because it's just, it's a family station wagon.
Right.
Not a lot of hot rodders in those things.
No. That's weird. I even looked at Caldinas on Trade Me, which is New Zealand's Craigslist. I'm like, maybe for my eyes, I didn't think they looked all that bad.
No, I mean, I don't think they're ugly. I think they're an car.
Okay.
Like, that's how, like, me and my business partner, we always joke about that. Like, like my daily driver, right, is an Acura TSX. Because it's a phenomenally good appliance.
Yeah.
It will never let you down. Yeah. Just like any other, a Toyota or a Honda of any vintage.
It's a Mr. Coffee.
Yeah,
machine.
it's a Mr. Coffee. It's going to work.
Yeah.
It's never going to leave you stranded. All you do is literally change the oil and the brake pads.
What? Do they use the K20? I think we were talking
about
this.
K24A2.
Okay.
Which was the hot K24. The CRVs and the Accords got the A1s, the A3s, the A4s, which are like the economy versions.
Okay.
So when I say hot, the hottest of them. But similar, almost identical power. Yeah. 20, 25 foot-pounds more torque, stock for stock for a K20A2. Which would have been in like the Civic SIs, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's regular cars are great for being regular. I mean, I know a guy with a YouTube channel called Regular Cars.
Rolls around in an 04 Subaru.
Isn't gonna get much more regular than that.
No. Stuck at work, just wanted to say hi, says Workforce 520. Wouldn't be a live chat without you rolling in. Thank you so much. Emerson Cross asks, 2JZ GTE swap with an R154. Don't know what that is.
Yeah, the R154 is the 1JZ transmission from the Mark III Supras.
In a first-gen Lexus IS. Is there room?
Yeah. Well, first gen Lexus IS, yeah, there wasn't any before the Lexus IS. Yes, the IS 300's one of the most common swaps in them. Is 2J, because they had a 2J NA in them. It was just the 2J GE. In America. Now, if you have an IS 200 over in Europe or Japan, they had the Beams Altezza 3S GE engine on, which was technically the Gen 5 with dual VVTi. But it's the same car, so it doesn't matter in terms of the engine bay. But yeah, that's not a drop in. You got to change a bunch of stuff because it wasn't the turbo motor was never supposed to be in there versus doing a GS or a SC like we've done. The 2J physically just drops right into them. You just have to, change the power steering pump and, exhaust and stuff like that.
Because I drove an IS 350. No, I drove an IS 250, I think.
That would be the second gen.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the 350 and the 250. The 350 was the 2GR, the minivan engine. And the 250 was just a 2.5, the AR motor, which was a perfectly good motor.
I drove one that had a V6.
Would be the 350.
Okay,
that's the 2GR. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 302 horse.
Yeah.
Same one that's in the Sienna, the Camry, the RAV4, everything. That's just Toyota V6. Just like the VQ35 is Nissan's V6. Not now anymore, but back in that same vintage, the mid 2000s.
Okay.
It was just
It was an AN car.
Yeah.
Like, you could torque load it, you could spin the rear tires, but I was driving and I go, why? It looks kind of neat. I honestly wish that car was a little softer, a little more car and a little less sport. That was my taste on it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the early Toyota going to like larger wheels, lower profile tires.
Yeah.
They hadn't really figured out the ride quality / handling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. Like, the Germans figured this out in the 70s. How to make cars handle and ride well.
Yeah.
And work at high speed, right? Because they had the Autobahn.
Yeah.
Like, fine. And they're German.
Yeah.
But the Japanese, I still wouldn't say that they've nailed it. But it's massively better. In the 90s, they had no idea. It was either handling or comfort. It was a beige Toyota Avalon or an MR2.
Celica.
Yeah. I mean...
drive that thing through Pennsylvania, just bam, bam, bam.
Just, there was no...
thin dashes.
There was no gray. Yeah.
Emerson, we answered that. Dragon Arcadia, thank you so much for your donation. My vacation from work just started 2 hours ago. Have some cash. Thank you very much, sir. 2006 Audi A6, the official car of what? The official car of a boss who loves saying this phrase, I'll let you take care of it. Oh.
Nailed it.
You do a good job. I'll let you take care of it. Oh, thanks for letting me take care of that, Mark. Audi A6.
Does he also say, I need you to come in on Sunday.
That actor is kind of like, that's his role forever.
Yes, that's his role for life, yeah.
Quinn Dickinson said a 60s Broncos caught fire in the 4th of July parade 2 years ago, and why I'm missing. Luckily for him, the fire trucks were a few cars back in the parade and they saved it. Mostly. Oh, man. So what? I wonder if the trucks in the fire parade had to hook up. Well, if it's in why I'm missing, that's like a suburb, so there'd be hydrants around. You wouldn't have to wait for a tanker truck to come by unless one happened to have water in it. Just spray it down from the roof, arcing the water over a few cars. Got it.
Nailed it. We got one Stavros Raff. Best swap for MR2 Spyder, K20 or 2ZZ, and why? Well, there's really no comparison. It's money. Why do the 2ZZ? Because it's 30 to 50% cheaper. The 2ZZ with all the bells and whistles is, hours-wise, is super easy. It's direct swap when you have the whole, our whole DIY kit. But $7,000 in parts. And then 12 to 15 hours of labor. It literally couldn't be easier in terms of effort. The K20 is obviously massively superior engine and has aftermarket, which 2ZZ, like old Toyota engines, doesn't. Except for the J's, obviously, that doesn't count. But the K20 is going to be 10 grand in parts. It's going to be much more time. None of your gauges are going to work. It will not pass inspection. 2ZZ will because it's a domestic market, OBD2 car.
I just pulled my kneecap up. I wonder if I pulled it back into position. I'm sorry, that was a weird aside. No, my knee has been hurting for the past couple days. I think I tore my meniscus in 2013 and been walking on it for 5 years. Playing basketball, like you do.
Yeah, because that's how you do it, yeah.
Yep. It wasn't bad. That was when I was living in Alaska. And there was nothing I could do. So I just... I
There wasn't a shaman that could like bless it or something.
No, they don't have those over there.
No.
And so I just iced it, taped it up, and then braced it, and it was okay. And then, like, over the past 2 years, it started to hurt. Like, if I ran, like, a few times, like, each day. No, ran a few times, like, over the course of a week. And lately, it's been hurting every single day. So I made an appointment at Geisinger up in Danville, Pennsylvania, for whatever the name is for the doctor who looks at this sort of stuff. And
yeah, orthopedist.
I have insurance, so it's whatever. And if it's a torn meniscus, torn meniscus is the human body equivalent of a broken tie rod end, or worn tie rod. They just go in there, figure out, and save it.
Yeah, turn on the air gun.
No, literally.
Oh no, it's 2 seconds. Yeah.
They make like two incisions.
Yep.
Did you have this done?
No, but when I was a personal trainer, I had a lot of clients that I had to rehab through it. It was like world's easiest rehab. Because I mean, it was same day.
What muscles? I run a lot, but what muscles did you work?
The rehab generally focused on the quad.
Okay.
But it was in a very specific range of motion. So immediately post-op, you would start on a very low step, and you would do what's called like a dorsal plantar flexion roll. So you'd start on your toe like this, and you'd then, with your other foot on the ground and this foot on the step, you'd then just stand up all off this leg, but just that far, just the steps distance, just to get lockout.
Okay.
And then you
are they
roll
stepping
back down.
Are they like on a box?
Up. Yep. Yeah, just like an aerobics box, like whatever it is. You just step straight up, just literally stand up on that one leg, come back down, blah, blah, blah. As time goes on, you add another box, so they get to basically doing like a full-on step up, but with a full roll. So when you stand up, you have full lock, full extension, and you're engaging the whole quadricep, not just, the rectus femoris, which is what you're normally hitting when you're doing just like a regular kind of walking lunge or something.
I need to memorize those names of those muscles.
It's super easy though. Like it's the world's easiest rehab.
Okay.
And fastest. Because it's nowadays, it's a tie rod. It's like, your tie rod's worn out. All right, I got another one on. I want to say thanks to Cactus Catastrophe for the $5, and thanks for being glad to see me. I'll do my best to help the professional here.
That was so weird. I was just rubbing it, and I got my foot here right under the patella, and I had my finger here, and I just was like pulling it back, and the whole patella just moved up. Now I know the patella isn't connected to anything; it just rides.
Yeah, just the patella tendon.
Bones.
Yeah, I mean it's just two tendons. Yeah, and it just rides on the cartilage.
That's my thing. I run a lot, and I do long distance hiking. With a 40-pound backpack of stuff on, but then during the day I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting, and the legs are there's nothing. And then I'm like, I'm done. Immediately start running, which is bad. I'll stretch my hamstrings and maybe my calves, and then immediately I go run, and I run up hills. So that's bad stress.
Yeah, which is gonna take a little bit more on it. Yeah, I mean that's like taking the Falcon out after like a month of not driving and hitting the strip.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's do some driving. Where's the drag strip?
Okay.
That was Stavros. Is from Greece. You're welcome, Stavros. Hello, Greece.
Glad to see. I'm just making sure I didn't skip anybody. We got Cactus Catastrophe. Was there someone before that? Audi A6. No, that was the Office Space things. Scrolling down. Someone asked me what kind of mileage I get on the Falcon. With the new rear end, a more gentle rear end, it did have 373 gears. Now it has 327 gearing in it.
Much more.
I get about 20 on the highway. So that's like Subaru with a 4-barrel carburetor.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Now that's not me. If I'm going 70, it's drinking a little bit. It's tacking up.
Yeah.
But if I'm just out I'm doing like 58, 60, like driving old man style in the slow lane, that engine's not turning a whole lot. And the biggest thing that, well, three things that car has going against it for gas miles, it's not a getting mileage car.
No.
Is one, the body is nowhere near aerodynamic, even though like all those old cars that were drawn, a hand drew that shape.
Mm-hmm.
It looks, wow, this actually looks aerodynamic, and they kind of, no, it isn't.
No.
Aerodynamics doesn't look like what aerodynamics looks like.
No, yeah. And almost the opposite. Look at a Formula One car.
Yeah, yeah.
And then look at a rocket ship.
Yeah. Yeah. And two, it's a carburetor, and they're unless you're talking motorcycles, they're never great. And three is the rear gearing. Like back in the day, they just changed the rear gearing based on what you wanted the car to be. The 4-speed AOD that it has in it it does have an overdrive gear. So if I went down to like 308 gearing, it'd be a dog, but I'd probably get like 24 on the highway. In town, the thing just drinks because it's not a lockup torque converter. And when you're in town, every single stoplight with that car, you kind of want to go as you go away. It's like turbos. All you want to do is spool and dump and spool and dump.
I don't know what else is it on there. Like the Gen 4 on the highway, generally gets high 20s.
Yeah.
If you're driving normal, but most guys who have 300 horsepower MR2s aren't driving normal. They see a guy next to them, they put their foot down. They're in town, they would get 25, 26, 27 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
If you're not on boost all the time,
Drunken Monk says, when was the last time you talked to
That's an MR2 reference.
Okay.
Drunken Monk, thanks for the $5. I haven't talked to Backtash. Well, let's see. He was sued out of existence over 5 years ago. Maybe it's more than that.
Is this a sordid tale?
Well, I don't know if it's sordid. It's very common knowledge in the MR2 world. But that's not to say common knowledge anywhere else. He was a guy who was, I think, a skilled fabricator and didn't quite have a handle on money management and managing expectations on customers when it came to wait time. And effectively, from what I know, I was not friends with Backtash. I don't know him personally. I just knew him, professionally, very peripherally. We never did any business with him. But effectively, he took a bunch of money from a bunch of people, I believe intending to make the parts, and they got tired of waiting, and he still hadn't made them. So, to my knowledge, a bunch of people sued him, and so he shut it down. I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if anybody got money. I don't know where he is right now. But, yeah, I mean, he was one of the early pioneers on a lot of things. So credit where credit's due. But, unfortunately, sometimes the pioneers are the ones that end up with the arrows in their back.
Oh, that's a good line.
Through maybe his fault. I don't know 100% which way the blame went, but I'm sure it wasn't 100% one way or the other. But yeah, he took a bunch of money. He didn't ultimately deliver all those parts.
That sucks. Well, Nope. Thank you for your donation. Nope. Would you feel comfortable doing a fan happy hour? I don't know what that means, and it probably means I'm going to be hungover.
That'd be my first guess.
Oh.
Also, where does Nope live?
Right.
Are you aware where we are?
Yeah, we are. Stanhope, New Jersey is in the middle of, well, it is farmland. It's
There's
out
plenty
there.
of farmland.
And out here, we're also in farmland.
Yep,
it's just, out here, you got to go to the state store. And but
Mr. Queasy made a reference.
Which window? Left? Yours or mine?
Left window. Just up.
Scroll
just
up.
one tap. Thanks. Pick up a ZZW30 or MX5 next summer after I sell my 89 Regal. Well played. Is your 89 Regal on 22-inch wheels? The official car of going back to the bathroom to wipe. That's funny. Yeah, I mean,
I've done that.
Been there. ZZW30 and MX5, not nearly as similar as people think they are. Just FYI. One, the MX5 has a trunk. The ZZW30 does not. And two, if you have an MX5, I expect you may or may not be involved in the hair industry. Whereas if you have a ZZW30, you clearly aren't concerned with what anybody thinks. But you enjoy an amazing chassis.
Yeah.
Because it's a phenomenal chassis.
It's great.
Just not that good looking and not fast stock. But
no.
Slow can be fixed. Not that great looking can be fixed.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a whole lot to make them decent looking. But handling wise, a ZZW30 will embarrass an MX-5 of similar vintage.
Right. We're talking early 2000s.
We're talking early 2000s here. 2000, 2005. You know, that was not the heyday of the Miata.
And you can't compare. It's the NB Miatas that are good, but you can't compare a ZZW30 to the turbo Miata that they made. Once you introduce forced induction, the Miata just stands on it.
Yeah, the Mazda
gone,
speed.
gone.
Yeah. That's an unfair comparison.
My poop comes from my butt. Thank you for your donation. What is your opinion on buying used first model year cars?
Ooh, good question.
Looking to buy a 2015 to 2019 WRX STI, and I've been told first years are full of issues. Well, as Justin Burnash said, the pioneers get hours in their backs. Are you going to have a backup car, a beater, for when you have to be Johnny on the spot with the recalls? Because they happen now. Didn't used to be this way. But now that's just part of being the first one on your block with something new. You need to be on point with the NHAS, National Institute for Highway Safety, when they issue those recalls.
NHIS.
I think so.
Yeah, NHIS, something like that. Yeah.
You have to write down the recalls. You need to print them out and have a good relationship with the guy at the parts counter at the dealership. I'm guessing you're buying new. To say, here you're doing the work. You're doing your parts guy's work for them, which makes them like you and makes them finish your car. So you print out the recalls and say, here it is, fix it. And you can, if you have your VIN of you can call them and check to see if your car has been done. You can call, say, Subaru of North America and check if the recall was performed in your car. Of course, if you're the owner, you of course know, if you're the first owner, you know it hasn't been done, and it's got to go back for these recalls. And then you got to make sure you have a good dealership that's actually doing the recalls.
You just touched on the point there.
Yeah.
A couple of my old mechanics worked for dealers before that, and the stories were not lacking in terms of, anything. I mean, like, obviously you got a lot of people, you got a lot of dealers have, a handful of master techs, depending on the dealer, and then mostly kids straight out of tech school.
Yeah.
And, supervision may or may not be there. I mean, obviously you have all levels of quality of dealer, just like anything else. But the stories they told and the things that the guys got away with and kept their jobs was the surprising thing to me. Not that it happened, but that they kept their jobs. And particularly with recall stuff. I mean, like with Toyota, the MR2, for reasons I still don't know because I've never seen one have a problem, but the MR2 had an airbag recall. No idea why. I've seen them deploy many times, saving the lives of their occupants. My brother was one of them. A customer of ours was another one. But to this day, if you go to Toyota with your MR2 and ask for the airbag recall, they will do it at no charge. The Tundras, they will still replace your frame at no charge. The early 2000s Tundras.
Nice.
Like that never goes away. Most manufacturers are not like that. I know, I've heard different varying stories of like Nissan per se or something like that.
Yeah, like you go in and like my Forester had a Subaru recall for lower control arms. And I got both of them replaced over at Steve Moyer. Shout out to them. They've been nice to me, letting me come over and film at their dealership. Big shout out to Kenneth Veit, their marketing director, who's a fan of ours. But yeah, he told stories about how people would come in and for these recalls, and they'd bill Subaru for their time, whatever. It's like a 2.5 hour job. They'd get that money, and they wouldn't do it. Or maybe they'd paint the part, just spray black paint on it.
Oh yeah,
so
for
it looks,
all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah. So what you got to do is that if it's a part that you can get to, get a drift chisel, and a hammer. Just find a spot you can't see. You just go donk. Put a nice gash right there. If you come back and that thing's still there, you got someone tried to rook you.
That's a quality recommendation right there. That's just like the old race car trick. If you put paint marks on all your hardware when you tighten it.
Yeah.
And then after you come back from the track, you check your paint marks. They moved. Something needs to be tightened. And odds are they moved. There was a couple guys up in the feed. You're good. Down a little bit more. Would you trust Pep Boys for car repair? What kind of car do you have? It's the Costanza. I mean, if you have like a Toyota Corolla or like a Chevy Sonic, you know, I don't know how much could you do wrong, but I've heard stories. So I
don't even trust those things for oil changes.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to one physically.
Yeah, just
at all. Because I've never had a car that would go there, and obviously my cars, you know, are worked on by my guys. Somebody had an interesting question about Drunk Monk hit it on the head about backtash. He bit off more than he could chew. Yeah, I would say you're probably right. There was one below him though. Oh yeah, it's right below him. Jordan Bell. What's a cool scroll?
Left screen or
left screen? Left screen. Excuse me. What's a cool American car with a manual I can get for less than $6,000 other than a Mustang or a Camaro? Moving to the U.S. soon. Where are you now, Jordan Bell?
Yeah.
Like, what are your references here? What's a cool car to you?
A cool American car
have to be made by an American company?
Right.
Or just be a domestic car in America?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want a station wagon?
For $6,000 for an American. Let's call it an American muscle car of some kind.
Okay. If I want a cheap car, an American car with a stick shift, it has to be made with a stick shift, because one of the coolest ones I've ever driven was a Buick Roadmaster where someone put a T56 into it, just coming right out of the carpet. That thing was a blast. It was still running the LTV8, the old ones from like the late 80s and the early 90s, before the LS.
Yep.
That thing was amazing.
This is not a bad motor.
Boat with a 6-speed right here, 6-speed bench seats, and he had to cut some of the foam out of the bench seat and then just wrapped it around so you could pull it back enough. It was a blast. But they don't make those because that's the... All right. Someone is saying, ooh, $6,000 for a neon SRT.
Are there still some of them on the road? I thought they all blew up.
Occasionally you'll run into a bone stock one. Bruce Henn says you run into a neon SRT and the SRT4, and if it's bone stock, it'll run. But those engines are made to make 250 horsepower. No more.
Yeah.
You want to make those things sing, you're talking money.
Yeah.
It's like...
And I knew guys back in the early 2000s when the MR2s were only like, 10 years old, the turbo cars, the SW20s, and they had SRT4s running 19 pounds of boost. Yeah. And they were making like close to 300 wheel.
Yeah.
But not for very long.
No.
They were quick. Until they weren't. It's
like the early 2000s of the WRXs. Oh, just get a boost controller. Uncle Rodney. That's an interesting question. A cool American stick shift car for under $6,000. Just Jordan Bell says he lives in the UK. So okay. I'm guessing from the UK version of the United States, you want your version of what we think British cars are. Because I just think like old Jags and stuff, and I think of Tweed. Yeah. I just think of anything that says Morris on it.
Yeah.
I want it to be cloudy. I want rain coming in. Yes. I want all the stereotypes. So you want the American experience for $6,000 with a manual transmission.
Not a Mustang or Camaro.
But not a
that's
Mustang.
The answer.
The answer is a Fox body.
But that's why he said that. Fun. He obviously has looked. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason that you know those two names.
Yeah.
Would I buy a Mustang or a Camaro? Well, no. But I'm a Toyota guy. That's probably not fair.
Right.
They are the quintessential American muscle car for that dollar.
Like, how back do we want to go? Because we can look in stuff that isn't a Fox platform. Because I went to other things and immediately thought in my head, no, it's still a Fox platform.
Nope, still the same.
Okay, we'll think about that. But in the meantime, Drunken Monk, thank you for your donation,
says... second one from him. I think he was the one who asked about backdash.
Oh,
I think
you answered that one.
I think, yeah.
RCR, I can give you a...
Can I give you?
Can I give you a hug for your SVX review? Also, I guess you can. Also, please do another one so the price can stop tanking.
What do you mean stop tanking? Is it
Well,
going down still?
I just called it, look, this is amazing and it's fun and it's interesting, but we only got the automatics. They're a weak transmission and good luck with parts. For what you get, I don't think they're worth. You gotta really love being weird to own one of those things, because you're not getting horsepower, you're not really getting prestige. Only other weird Subaru people are going to care about it, and most Subaru people don't care about the SVX.
No, because they had to be our age. I knew a woman who had one new in maroon, and I was like, "Ooh, look at that! The doors look like a Lamborghini Countach."
Yeah,
I was like, "That's amazing!" I was like, "It's a Subaru, incredible!" And then I drove it, and I was like, "Oh, that's."
You could have a 300ZX and go faster for the same money.
Yes.
And be just as well built on this, probably better.
Yes. Though, just don't have to work on it. Because I had a Z32 twin turbo, and you can't do anything. People think mid-engine cars like MR2s are hard to work on. Nah. A Z32 300ZX, in my experience, the pinnacle of an unmanageable engine bay. It's just 10 pounds of you-know-what in a 5-pound bucket.
Can you change the oil logically?
That's pretty much it, yeah. Like if you want to change
spark plugs,
plugs, you gotta take like the whole manifold off, the whole intake manifold off. I mean, it's a V6. And it's twin turbo V6. You know, it's like V6s are just inherently wrong.
Oh, wait,
they're
again.
packaging compromises.
That's right. There's one sitting at Bruce Hens. The engine's still on the stand. The guy wants 700 wheel.
Now, those were not bad motors. You can make 400 wheel on them all day long. Like that was very easy on them. That was like 250 wheel on an MR2. But mine was like black on black.
Yeah.
Like, it was bone stock, bought it from an old guy. Yeah. And it was a really nice touring car. But I also had my 93 turbo MR2 at the time, which is not a touring car. More so than maybe a Lotus Elise, but not compared to the 300ZX. It was a grandpa car. It was really nice at it though. My dad loved it.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, this is so comfortable and relaxing." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why it's boring." But I was also like 24.
Yeah.
Now I'm not 24, so I'd probably enjoy it more now. But it was like slop to drive. Like in terms of just stock for stock against an MR2,
steering was not good.
Oh, it rolled and it was heavy. I mean, it wasn't that heavy. It was like 3,300 pounds or whatever. But it looked good though. Oh. First time I saw one of those, and that was like all the flush taillights, like that single panel.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was like strong pornography back then.
God, this computer
white pearl, you know.
That was back in the age when they did ads for it, and they just wrote the word computers. Holy shit!
Yeah. And then you hit the radio, and the voice comes on. Hello, Michael. Yeah.
Left door is open. Iced Ink, thank you for your generous donation. Greetings from Dallas. Any hints for what cars we will see at the Harris Hill Part D? Harris Hill. Okay. You will see Classic American. You will see, we're going to Nashville. Not Nashville. Austin in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Middle of next month. And we got 4 cars lined up to drive around Harris Hill Raceway.
Oh, sweet.
Which is a private racetrack near San Marcos, Texas.
It's the best kind of racetrack.
Yeah. You can kind of do what you want there. Yeah.
That's how Monticello is up in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like $250,000 a year to belong to it, but
whoa,
one of my really wealthy racing buddies belonged there for a little while, and I mean, you can just do whatever you want. I mean,
Harris Hill is like $20,000 a year.
Yeah, I know that's more than 10 times. Yeah, but it's Monticello.
Sounds like hors d'oeuvres.
Monticello.
What's their
diverse?
How's their track clubhouse?
I've never actually been in it. When I was up there, it was for a lemons race, so they didn't let you in. You're riffraff, so you're not allowed in the nice places. But it was a fun track. I mean, they had like multiple different layouts. The long layout was like 4.1 miles or something. I mean,
wow,
massive.
Harris Hill's kind of small.
Very cool. Yeah, it was very cool. Very cool.
We have Classic American. We have early 90s Toyota. We have a commercial vehicle. It's a food truck. Well, because it's helping us out, the sports and fitness company, so we're driving their food truck.
That would make sense.
And then the fourth car is Swedish. Again, 90s. So it's 90s, 60s commercial. Yeah. So everything, I think, with the exception of the American car, everything is a wagon going around. Because my point is, like, I had some nice stuff. There's a bunch of MR2 people in Austin who's like, drive mine around the track, and half of it is they want to get on a Harris Hill too.
That's right.
And
I mean, if I could drive, maybe you could drive a little bit. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But my point is, I wanted stuff inappropriate for the track.
Well, it's the best kind of stuff. Also, the most fun stuff to drive. Like when you did the Park Avenue.
Park Avenue.
Come on, so could there be a less appropriate car for the track?
And like all the track guys who work there were gathering around this Park Avenue from 90.
That gets the eyeballs. Not another Ferrari.
Oh,
not another Miata.
Yeah.
You know.
My favorite shot was like Ferrari, McLaren stuff, and then this like 93 Park Avenue, just like yeah.
Watch me roll. They see me rolling. Yeah. Oh, I got to touch on one guy here.
Okay.
Maddox RC. MR2 doesn't weigh 3,300 pounds. What are you saying, man? Yes, that's the Z32, 300ZX. No, the MR2, even full fat in 95, was barely kissing 3,000 pounds. But J. Crispy Kilpatrick had my back on that one. He clarified. Thank you. I appreciate that, J. Crispy Kilpatrick. Can I bring a baggage cart on Harris Hill? Can I bring a baggage cart? Tony Richardson.
Well, if you can steal one from the airport, that'd be fun. They're interested to see if the food truck gets the slowest track time around their track. There are two current slowest track times around Harris Hill. One is a car, and the other one is one of those like Polaris ATV 4-seaters. That really is the lowest one of like 10 minutes. The real slowest one, I think, is their it's like a Ford. No, I think it's a Suburban, a Chevy Suburban that they use as their tow rig. They just have the big meat hooks on it that tows cars out of the hay bales.
Yeah,
that's their thing. And so actually, it drives pretty well. It's the slowest one that goes around, but I mean,
pretty well, meaning you didn't die.
Yeah. So the food truck we're hoping is going to be slower. I don't know who's going to drive that thing. I think we're going to. I think we're going to have to give it to Monica Harrison, an instructor, because I don't know who's going to frickin' drive this thing, have the bravery to drive this around.
We got a guy, Derek Cleverly. Hey, Mr. Regular, I've got a 93 Toyota Soarer. I imported a couple. Oh, he just bumped up. There he is. Wait, did I lose it? Where did I lose it? There we go.
I've got a 93 Toyota Soarer I imported. Are you just in under the line? Are we 93s now we can have?
Yes.
I incorporated
we're 18 now, as long as it's got to be 25 years manufacture date.
Okay.
But yeah, we did a 1JZ swap on a domestic SC300.
Okay.
That was with the later one. He has the the non-VVTI. We had the VVTI 2J. Because that's how they came over there. That was the Soarer. That was actually the 1J. That's what we did on the SC was the 1J out of a Soarer. But it's a Supra. It's a Supra with a different body on it.
Oh.
But with the 1J versus the 2J, so technically power wise, once you start modifying them, not really that much in the difference until you get up to crazy horsepower. But probably like it looks like a grandpa car. It's nice looking, but it's not like obvious. But value wise, you have a Supra.
Nice.
It's mechanically, effectively a Supra. Do you want to review it? Was the question.
Derek,
a cool car.
Year, make, model, city, state, regular cars at gmail.com. That's all you got to do.
Nice buy, Derek. Oh, Drunken Monk. Drunken Monk is his hardcore. North Florida had a great MR2 falling around 2010-ish, but everyone faded away eventually. Yes. I don't know a lot of... I mean, we have customers in Florida, obviously, but in terms of active guys, I don't know a lot in Florida anymore either. They're there, but because obviously in Florida, you drive the MR2 pretty often. But that's a good point. So Drunken Monk is from back in the day, and then it's the Costanza again. What if Toyota brought back the MR2? Yeah, they've been talking about this forever.
They have to make it meet safety standards. They'd have to make it meet pedestrian safety standards. It would have a bulbous nose. It would ride way too high. It would have a big ass.
It wouldn't be an MR2. Yeah, I mean, you can't.
What engine does Toyota have, like, right now?
Well, they don't, but if you're on the Supra vein, where you just take a BMW and slap a Super body on it and a badge. I mean, how do you do that with an MR2? Well, BMW does not have a mid-engine car anymore, not since the M1 back in the 70s. But yeah, I don't think they can bring it back and have it be an MR2. They could do something cool, but doing a mid-engine car at a moderate price range, which the MR2 was expensive for its day, but it wasn't insane like the Supra was.
Right.
I just don't see the economics for it. Like they're the biggest car company in the world. Like they're not bothered with us peons and our MR2s. I'm very bothered with them, but
they gave us the Toyota brew because they're like, look, we got an engine here. We'll make this, but they didn't have to make an engine. It's a weird.
Well, you know how they did that deal, right?
No, I didn't.
With the 86?
No.
The deal was that Toyota said, all right, Subaru, we want to do an interesting rear-wheel drive car. And they were like, I'm confused. Why are you talking to us about a rear-wheel drive car? Like, hear me out. I want to do an interesting rear-wheel drive car. It's going to be $25,000 or less. It's going to have a boxer motor. It's going to be not one of their normal motors because that was a bespoke motor. But and it's going to be, and we're gonna bankroll it. Go to work. So that's why everything says Subaru on it. It is a Subaru. There's nothing Toyota about that car besides technically it was direct and port injection. And the direct injection was Toyota's contribution mechanically. That was it. That was the contribution.
Really?
And then the other rule was, oh, by the way, Subaru, we as Scion, back when it came out, now defunct, we sell twice as many as you do. So that was one of the, but we will bankroll the build. We'll bankroll all the marketing.
Oh, okay.
So do your engineering thing.
Yeah.
Because we're Toyota. What do we know about engineering? But I mean, to Subaru's credit, dynamically, phenomenal car. Slow, yes, admittedly, but you can bolt that on. You can bolt on power.
Yeah.
But so good looking, ridiculously amazing to drive. Like, I would say that's the closest thing to a modern MR2 that I have driven in spirit. Right. Obviously, the engine's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
But in terms of drivability and handling and forgiveness at the limit, it's not in the wrong place.
Right.
It's in the right place.
Right. Yeah.
The MR2 is in the wrong place if you don't want to have consequences.
Right.
I mean, it's just
it's a larger Miata.
That's but I think way better to drive.
Well, yeah.
Same year for same year.
Yeah.
Because I've driven both.
It's a legit hard top.
It's a real deal car.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, nothing against the Miata. It's obviously a phenomenally good car, and they've sold millions and millions, so it doesn't matter what I say. But the 86 dynamically way better, and aesthetically, obviously, just really good looking.
That's where we differ, but
you don't like the 86 look?
I think it's too aggressive.
Interesting. See, that's what I liked about it. The balls of making it that aggressive. Because neither Subaru or Toyota really do that.
Yeah.
Now Lexus has gotten really aggressive.
Maybe I'm stuck in 1993 where I like everything curved out.
Yes. Is the opposite of that. It was very contemporary, which I was impressed with. Just the idea of it. Like the current Lexus grills.
Yeah.
They're at least, like there's non-design, and then there's pretty, and then there's ugly.
These predator
Toyota
mouths.
has always been non-design.
Yeah.
That's now like not everyone's cup of tea, but if your audience is everyone, your audience is no one. Like pick an audience and then make them like it. Everyone is not going to own a Porsche 911. No. But people who own Porsche 911s love Porsche 911s.
That is true. Ad Doom, thank you for waiting. I have 4 classic cars and a modern car. Would you be interested in doing RCR New Hampshire? Yeah, sure. Send me an email. I haven't been up to New England in a long, long time. It's something after my questionable maybe knee surgery, once everything gets sorted again with like my savings account, we'll figure something out. I've been meaning to try to come to Boston, but you can't really film there.
Wonder how close he is to Thompson Motor Speedway. Or New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Sorry, Thompson is in Connecticut. We used to race up there with Lemons. That was a cool track. I don't know what they do in off time, but
right. If I can find a way onto it. See, the thing about Harris Hill is that we're filming there and we don't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
So
that's the best way to film.
Yeah. So I'll write off a plane ticket there to go hang out.
I wonder though. I mean, I've never been in your position. I wonder what would happen if you called New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It's like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do.
Yeah.
You know, if I brought these cars, would you be interested in, you know, like comping me, you know,
the
2 hours?
The track fee.
You know, I mean, like if you did it on like a random weekday, like they don't do anything on the track. Like tracks are ghost towns.
When we were filming there for the first time, there'd be a few people out. Now, we had a film with other people on the track, but at most, I gave a point by to somebody every other lap.
Yeah, I mean, that's
otherwise it was just, yeah.
Like at a track day, if you're not in one of the fastest cars on the track, you're pointing by every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You got 50 guys in a run group on a 2-mile track, you know, at Pocono or, you know, NJMP.
836 says, I am renting a car this weekend, and I'm going through PA to Pittsburgh. Would you be interested in maybe doing a review on it? No clue what it would be. Thank you so much for your donation. I get these questions often. The I'm coming through Pennsylvania can mean many different things.
It's a big state.
Yeah, we are. Now, as compared to out west, we're small, but it's still 5 hours from border to border. And it's like the New York border from here is like 2.5 hours. So... And I'm afraid not. 386. I'm sorry. Because then you never know what's going to happen on the interstate. There's going to be accidents, and like, what if it's a car I already reviewed, and I'll be like, oh, here's another Camry,
or a Nissan Versa if it's a rental car.
Right. Well, I haven't reviewed a Versa yet. I'll probably review Tony Richardson's Tony Airlines. We've had him on the podcast once before. He's 26 years old, already a captain.
Really?
On an airline.
Was he in the military before that?
It was not.
Interesting, because I know a lot of guys who made that transition because you're a pilot, you know.
This guy went to pilot school. Yeah. Like, you talk to him, and like
That's a young captain.
He says he gets, are you old enough to fly? Because he's got a baby face.
That makes it worse. Yeah. 17.
But you talk to him, and he has that pilot's demeanor. Like, if you got a like X-ray vision and tried to look at what was going through his mind, it's just one big thumbs up. It's like, this is a guy with no problems, no emotional hang-ups, no baggage. I fly planes. Things are all right in my world. Like, wow. And what's your hobby? Kayaking. It's like, I like to go out on the lake. It's like everything about you is normal. It's so freaky being around you. You have no perversions at all.
Does he have the awesome captain's voice for the announcements? Excuse me, passengers.
It isn't that deep.
No?
I mean, I've heard him like rattle off how they rattle off stuff really fast, and he does do that. It has a higher voice. I want him to like read stuff off in a pilot voice, but I will have to put a filter on it to make it sound like it's coming through that dumb speaker that's up ahead.
Yeah.
Listen, dog, it was Boulder in 19... Oh, my poop comes on my butt. Listen, dog, it was Boulder in 1994. I just moved there from North Bergen, New Jersey. I can't really do Joey Diaz, look. I'm not very good at that sort of voice coming out here. Listen here, cocksuckers. Look, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, middle of the week. We're out here slinging dick with 3 hands. I miss seeing him at like the PAX Casino or something. He was in Philly last weekend.
Oh yeah.
Joey Diaz bust out laughing. It's amazing. Listen, dog, it was Boulder in 1994. I just set a hooker's wig on fire and did 2 lines of coke. Joey Diaz is amazing. Murray Mack and Chack and Sock and Sock. I enjoy y'all butchering my last name. Cheers.
And we also are butchering.
Yeah.
Enjoy us butchering.
Speaking of cheers, I would like to sample the Glenfiddich 15.
Here we go.
This is a spirit recommended to me by Justin Burnash, who was surprised that it was being sold so cheaply in the state store.
Very, very exciting. My Scotch days are not usually met with pleasant surprises on lower cost.
I think this is on one of the few top shelf bottles of
This would be
Scotch.
top-ish. Yeah, I mean, normally this is a $90 bottle.
Yeah, you bought it for 50.
Yeah, like 58 on sale.
Yeah,
Like, it's basically free.
it was Nick Roman who got me into sampling Scotch, because before that, my only like liquor that I would drink would be just gin and tonics or gin martinis. That was it. Everything else was just beer. And then one day he brought by Glenmorangie or something like that.
Glenmorangie?
Glenmorangie.
There's so many Glens. There's like 30 different Glens. But Glenmorangie is one of the old.
And he was
names.
like, "Try this." And I was like, "Holy shit!" And he's like, "Yeah, you were just drinking crap stuff."
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
Thank you, sir.
there's a lot of inherent variety built into the Scotch game. I mean, obviously, you know, they've been around, most of them legally. They were allowed to form in 1864, which is why a lot of them say that as their founding date, even though they were in existence way before that. But you know, Scotch is like, I don't know, nowadays of craft beer is probably even bigger variety. But
Yeah.
Scotch is probably more like wine. Like there are probably thousands, you know, of them. You can't technically call it Scotch unless it was made in Scotland.
Oh.
Otherwise, it could be called Scottish whiskey.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's whiskey.
What does it say it on the Glenfiddich?
Oh well, this is real Scotch.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't drink any. Well, actually, you know who makes
Oh,
some
and
of
this
the most.
Tomatin said Scotch whiskey.
That's right.
That is different.
It was not made in Scotland. Yeah. So interestingly, some of my favorite whiskeys are Japanese and Taiwanese whiskeys,
Ooh.
which are phenomenal. Like Yamazaki is a big Japanese one. Nika is one of my favorite. They do a coffee whiskey.
Strange.
So there's coffee bean, distilled with it. It's phenomenal. It is the smoothest whiskey on the planet, and and the Japanese, they don't do ages. That's a Scottish thing and an American thing. Huh. The Japanese do not do ages, but they're just like regular, like the Nika. I would say is equivalent to like an 18-year-old, Scottish whiskey. Yeah. So let me know what you think. This is first tasting.
You are not kidding how easy you're saying it is to drink a bottle. There it is.
Yeah.
It's
dangerous.
Creamy a little bit. Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
And the 18 is even crazier. Like there's nothing to suggest that it's alcohol.
It's way smoother than this. Doesn't have the sweetness, doesn't have the bite of this, of the Tomatin. That is nice.
It is extremely enjoyable. But so different.
Yeah, so different.
But that's what's interesting about Scotch, though. And just, whiskey, bourbon,
God, damn, that's good.
You could spend your entire life tasting a different one every single time you buy it, and you wouldn't even make a dent.
No. Oh, Christ, that's amazing.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it.
Thank you. Derek Cleverly, thanks, Mr. Regular. Just sent an email to you September 3rd. Oh, you just did send an email September 3rd, but I'll send you another one. And Justin, love your MR2s.
Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it.
Let's see. I think we're down here to bullets. There we are. Laserdisc or 8-track? 8-track. Because I bought an
Next question.
I bought an 8-track player off of Craigslist for $30 because it was built into a console thing, weighed 250 pounds. It was one of those furniture things that had the record player, radio receiver. It was great. I call it Mr. Good Vibes. I took it with me back to grad school when I lived in that apartment. And God, people just started giving me 8-tracks. I I think, and I since got rid of this thing. I think I had the band on 8-track. I had this weird release of the Mothers of Invention with Yoko Ono. It was strange. It was noise. I had All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. I had Glenn Rafferty, whatever thing that had Classical Gas. Was that Classical Gas, Glenn Rafferty? No, I'm sorry, Baker Street. There it is.
You got me.
All this like great 70s stuff. And people just handed me shoeboxes of 8-track tapes. And half of them, you put them in, they broke. And that was before I started watching the British guy who reviews all this stuff, Techmoan. And he talked about repairing those things. Now, I've since gotten rid of it. The only piece of audio equipment that's in this room is directly behind the camera is a Philips tape deck, or a tape console that would fit in a home stereo. I use that to make mixtapes to put in my 88 MR2 Mark 1B. And now since I sold it, it's not doing anything. It's still hooked up to a pair of Sennheiser headphones, so you can listen to tape cassettes on it. It does have Dolby A/NB noise reduction on it, but I haven't used it since I sold the MR2. Pub Al says, my car is a cassette player, works great. Glad it does. What you hunting for there?
Oh, I was just since you got the scrolling going on there, but I go back. I saw a lot of, of questions. Here we go. This is where I go to current.
Dan, would you like a mouse?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
It is an old computer.
That was John Shalhoub. Recently bought an 89 MR2 because of Mr. Regular.
Oh boy, I hope it was good.
Gearing up to do a full body restoration is not a good start. And some performance upgrades. Any suggestions?
Okay, well, you got to prioritize.
You don't have to restore the body on. Doing a body resto on Mark 1 is going to be colossally difficult. Also because they did rust a lot more than the Mark 2s did. Toyota hadn't quite figured out underbody coating at that point. Yeah, I mean, suggestions. Restorations are expensive. If you're doing all the work yourself, you're a paint body guy, or you have a buddy that'll do it for like nothing, and it'll actually get done. Because I know a lot of guys who had buddies that would do it for nothing, and then nothing got done.
Yeah.
But you know, upgrades on a Mark 1, it's keep it simple. I mean, it's always keep it simple. But on a Mark 1, I assume it's NA because you don't say it's supercharged. You know, go through all your bushings. Nice set of struts and springs, or if you want to get a little crazy, throw on some BC coilovers on there. They do make them. Direct bolt on. And nice set of pads and rotors, brake lines. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, that makes, you know, wheels and tires, obviously, on any car.
You're dealing with a light vehicle.
Yeah, and a car that isn't going to be fast unless you put a Gen 4 in it. Unless you Mark 1.5 it, which I don't recommend if you're already doing a restoration. Your costs are going to skyrocket.
What about a black top? What about a silver top swap?
I got an email about a black top yesterday, the day before.
Yeah.
I mean, guys still do them. Like, I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, it's period correct. It's not period correct because it was a much later motor.
Yeah.
But the reality of the black tops is NA motors from Japan are generally in need of like full rebuilds when they come over. Yeah, because they wring the nuts off them.
Oh, okay.
And that was when they were still running conventional oil on most of their motors.
Okay.
So they're all sludged up. My dad has one in his Mark 1, and he had to have full rebuild done. I had two guys try to have us do swaps on them way back in the day when we were working on Mark 1s with the Mark 2s, like every now and then. And he brought the motor, and I was like, "Don't leave. Pop the valve cover right now, and let's see if you have a usable motor." Sure enough, completely sludged and caked. I was like, "No, you're not. I'm not going to put this in for you because it's not going to work. Like if it starts." It's going to start, spin a rod, and then you have one more. Like, take it somewhere to have it fully rebuilt, and then maybe I'll talk. But, you know, like, it's just not worth the work. Like, it's 165 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's 8,500 RPM, red line. Okay, yes, it's in keeping with the character of the car. But a supercharged car with 145 horsepower is way faster.
Yeah.
Because it's got torque. And, you know, it's not a cheap motor to put in. Like, say you get one you don't have to rebuild. Still $2,000 motor.
Yeah.
You got to rebuild it more than double that.
Yeah.
You know, like now you're at Gen 4 Mark 1.5 money, and you have half the power and none of the reliability. Like it's an ancient motor. You can't get any parts for them. Like I can get timing components for them. That's pretty much it.
Really?
But like the ECUs go bad all the time because they're old. You can't replace them. It's an unmaintainable, you know, setup. Which is why I usually tell guys not to do it.
Can I do a Mega Squirt?
Oh, the Mega Squirt is bane of my existence. In my experience, which is what my opinion is based on, not just an opinion, of being involved with 1,000 MR2s being repaired, swapped, worked on, what have you, built. Standalone ECUs on MR2s are going to become massively expensive because you can't run on a base map. Like you can, but you're not supposed to. And a lot of guys blow their motors that way. And a Mega Squirt, no tuner is going to touch because it's not a real standalone. It's a DIY. It's, you know, I don't have anything against them because I just don't use standalones altogether because reliability goes out the window. You don't have a factory. Toyota put millions of dollars into their ECU tuning to make it safe and work. Yeah. Performance was a bonus. Bonus on a Gen 4, they gave it more performance. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, I can make 350 wheel unopened just with a turbo on a Gen 4. But to go to 400 wheel, I got to do a built motor, a big turbo, a standalone, a fuel system. Like, you just quadrupled your investment for the next 50 wheel. Now, you can go to another 100, 200 wheel, you know, at that point. Yeah. But most of those cars never even run. Like, there are guys out there that did it, and they probably have 20, 30 grand in their engine bay. Yeah. And now you have an unusable amount of power in a Toyota. Like, it's an MR2. 350 wheels a lot in our cars. You drove a 300 wheel car.
Yeah, that was... I stabbed it once, and it was like, this thing's going, it's not stopping. Like, this is more than any normal person can want. You can take that on a lonely road in Mexico, just open that thing up and have the time of your life.
And that actually, not even that setup, just a stock turbo setup. For the first 2 years when we were beta testing the Gen 4, before we put it out to the public as a swap, we raced it against my Ferrari Porsche buddies. Oh, nice. And now, I mean, these were road cars. Porsche guys, there were some track cars, like real serious stuff. But the Ferraris and the Lambos, they're just street cars. They're just guys driving them. They're not having any particular amount of talent in most cases. But the reality of just a 250 wheel Gen 4 MR2 on slicks, coilovers, and some race pads, like, I would just destroy everyone except on the straightaway. Yeah. And if they let me by, like they're supposed to, because I'm all over them in the infield, they wave me by after the second corner, I'm gone. Because I'm driving a road car. Yeah. Even a guy like Gallardo with 500 horsepower, it's still a road car. It's on road tires, on road brakes. Give me one hot lap in that car, I will tear the brakes right off it. They will be on fire. And your pedal will go to the floor. Like they're street brakes. It doesn't matter how awesome they are, they're street brakes. Race brakes and slicks on any car, it transforms the car. It's almost unrecognizable. And the MR2, it helps subdue a lot of the tendencies. It's so sticky on slicks that you're not... that snap oversteer, you almost can't get it to oversteer. Really? Like, except on throttle. Like, off throttle, coming in with good amounts of grip on the back, the car wants to understeer because there's no weight over the front end. It's like a 911. You know, like those cars, the problem is the turn-in at speed when you have really sticky rear tires. But I
have to find a way to get you on the Smoking Tire podcast.
Well, more immediate fun scenario. Would you like to come to one of my rich friends' track days? Because you can go in there. I mean, you could film the whole event. You can film multiple cars. There are no regular cars there, to be fair. There are irregular cars, but it's some of the most fun you can have, and you know, I'll take care of everything. We can go together. I'll introduce you to all my buddies, my fancy cars, and they'll just let you drive them. Like, they're like the nicest guys in the world, and they trust me. Like, I taught half of them how to drive. So, and it's at Pocono.
Is this? It's at Pocono Raceway. Can you?
I mean, they do it at NJP too. But that's way too far for you.
Is this like an event where you can just drive anything up there on the track? Or does it got pass tech?
It used to be called Boys with Toys. Now I think they call it something else more like not weird sounding. But it's at Pocono, everything is self-tech. And in JP, they actually do tech. Okay. But at Pocono, literally you rent the track and everything's on you. You got to hire the workers. You got to pay the insurance. Like, when you rent the entire track, which is what they do, and then there's like 50 of us there. Yeah. Like you can bring whatever you want, but if you run the beginner group, you could put anything on the track.
Okay.
If you're gonna run intermediate or advanced, you need to be in a fast car or have an extremely fast driver. Like, I could take an intermediate car in the advanced and not be a nuisance.
Yeah.
But I will be waving guys by regularly because they're going to be in 600 horsepower supercars.
I just want to get some pictures of the Falcon going around a track. I'll point everybody by. I just want to la-di-da around this thing because you
Tire
rode
Rack
it.
does those track day night things all the time for free.
Tire Rack?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I bet you they do them at Pocono regularly. In fact, I'm sure they do because MR2 guys do them all the time.
Really?
In fact, I should hook you up with Kyle Brown. He was actually at one of your regular car meets.
Oh yeah,
I think 2 years ago with
Shit.
Luke. He has a red MR2 with a Gen 4, one of the earlier Gen 4s.
Did he have one of the? I remember this guy in a red MR2 had T-tops, and I remember in my mind looking at his steering wheel and thought, "Is that off of a Logitech flight simulator?" It was one of those circa 2002.
He probably has a small steering wheel on it.
It had like the cut flat bottom.
Yeah, I mean, he races that car nonstop.
Okay.
He's been tracking.
I'm
that
not
car.
knocking the wheel, but it was just something that looked in my mind. And that's
well, you're like that. Obviously doesn't. That's obviously not from the car. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, he has been. We built that car for him. Oh man, it's probably 4 years ago now.
It had the same exhaust as the red one.
The red one has a Burke. Kyle has a Motoria.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Which would have been the same as the blue one.
Okay.
Because that's the one you can get easily when Burke is out of stock. And it's just actually it's lighter as a track car. It actually makes more sense because it's lighter and it's still just a full 3-inch.
Oh, nice.
But he lives in PA. In fact, I don't think he lives that far from here. Because we went to go pick his car up one time for him.
Yeah.
For an issue he was having not related to the swap, and it was like 2.5 hours. Like pretty much west.
Oh, okay.
So I would imagine he's in this general area. I don't know if he's listening, but remind me afterwards, and I'll hook you up with him because he does those things nonstop. He's a really good driver.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because I wanna get more experience being on a track and not being scared.
Being on there scared is not a good way to be on there.
No.
For you or anybody else.
Christopher Conrad, thank you for your donation, says, in honor of your upcoming Deuce and a Half review, yes. Did I tell you about this?
No.
I think we didn't film it when I was up there yet. Any chance of doing a mod Deuce? What's a mod Deuce?
Mod Deuce is a 50 cal from World War II.
Oh, really?
Is that what it's talking about?
We got a guy from Temple, like Reading Temple, to drive up here with a 1970 Deuce and a Half. And that was an entertaining car to drive. Each wheel and tire alone, like the wheel and tire combination, filled up, weighs 500 pounds.
Oh, I have no doubt.
There are 6 of them.
Yeah.
The car drives better the more you swear at it as you shift. And the guy said, look, there's this term called grip it and rip it. Just grip the gear, fuck trying to find a place, put it in. And once you do that, it goes in. Like he told me the way to drive a Deuce and a Half, he said, you have to remember this vehicle was built for 18-year-olds who are just to drive with angry boners because they're just surrounded by men. There's no women. They're crazy and angry, and it's made to be driven by someone whose frontal lobe hasn't formed yet. And that thing was, I think it gets like 9 miles to the gallon, which is more than I thought. It had a non-turbo multi-fuel engine.
Oh, I was just going to ask you if it was turbo diesel because
no turbo.
The military Deuce and a Halves from World War II were turbo diesel.
They had turbos on them. This one was an NA.
Every time they go by.
Huh. This is an NA diesel. I forget who made the engine. It could take gasoline, Jet A, or diesel, which I don't know how you get away with that. How does that work?
It can gasoline Jet A. Jet fuel?
I have to remember the picture, but it said at what RPM it should be idling depending on what fuel you put into it.
Interesting.
Ostensibly, it is a diesel engine, but how you put petrol into that and make it run?
Work.
No.
I mean, I'm no engineer, but my knowledge of how diesel engines work, which is
crazy high compression.
Yeah, it's just off compression. That's how you create the combustion. There's no spark.
Unless you're right, it's just Jet A, which is kerosene, right?
Is that what Jet A is?
I don't know.
Oh, we got I'm interested to hear your answer to this, Brian.
Okay.
Derek Law, what is your favorite guilty pleasure car?
Okay. When I think of a guilty pleasure car, I think of a car that's the automotive equivalent of listening to ABBA and singing along. Dancing Queen. You know, when I think of guilty pleasure, I have a CD in my book of CDs that's under my bed. I still saved all my burned CDs going back to 1999. I have a CD that's filled with Uncle Kracker and Kid Rock.
Oh, yes.
So if I think of listening to Uncle Kracker, I like that stuff. A guilty pleasure car. Please don't look at me when I'm driving this. Stuff that I want to keep reviewing, even though I've done so many of them. I'd say MR2s for the benefit of present company. Like, oh, you're doing another MR2. Yeah, so what? But stuff that I'm embarrassed to be seen in. I was going to say minivans, but now they're starting to go up hipster cool. Like the Dodge Caravan, they made a turbo Dodge Caravan with a stick shift in the first gen. It had the same engine that the Daytona used.
Really?
Yeah. There is a turbo Dodge Caravan first gen with a stick shift.
Did they do a Shelby version?
No. There's not a Shelby version. You could put one of those engines in.
You can drop it in though, I'm sure.
I saw one at Chrysler at Chrysler Nationals. It had an automatic though, but still, it's a fucking turbo.
Seriously? I never knew about that. I mean,
it's totally.
I'm not really up on my Dodge Caravans, but
you know they had access to all the Mitsubishi stuff. So there were some that existed.
I mean, that was the Mitsubishi time. Yeah. Hey, Eric O'Shea. You just said hi.
I have to remember. Oh, Eric O'Shea. Hello. A guilty pleasure car. I love the crap out of Malaise era vehicles. And I think they're amazing even though they suck ass. There's a guy around, and he since sold it, that I was trying to hook up something for this Saturday because it's going to be pretty, and I wanted to film down in Lancaster this weekend. There was a guy rolling around with a Ford Granada.
Ooh, what year?
78.
Oh,
brown on brown.
Velour?
I don't remember. I think it was just a regular cloth interior.
Oh, yeah.
Still running the 200 Thriftmaster. Those I love. I love small Toyota pickup trucks, but they're kind of cool now.
Yeah. Well, and they never really went out of style with the
ones that were just called pickup. Toyota pickup.
Yeah. Like the
T100 was bigger.
Yep. Yeah, that was the predecessor to the Tundra. That was the immediate predecessor. Yeah, I mean, most of them, the 80s stuff, generally rotted out, so you don't see a lot of that on the road anymore.
I like the Fairmonts, but the Fairmonts are what are just open receptacles for LS engines.
Yeah.
That's the de facto sloppy mechanics swap. An LSX, a 4L80E, and a Ford 8.8 rear end. You're good to roll. I always laugh about the 86 Sprinter Truno. That comes up. I've driven two different versions of them. I think they're great. I think they're completely overrated. And the engine's in the wrong place. There's a better version of it. It's called a first gen MR2. And I drove one that came to my meet. It was probably the same one that your friend with the red T-top that you were talking about came to. It was a guy who had an AE86 and a USDM one with individual throttle bodies. And on the...
a handful of guys do that. One or two MR2 guys have done that.
It revved like crazy, and there was nothing. There was no power.
Because the ITBs take even more torque out of the plenum system they had in the factory motor.
The TVZ.
But but they look very cool.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, you put like a foam filter over them or the skirt.
That's what he had. The big one that went over all of them.
Yeah. I had a. Sorry.
You gotta go find it. I gotta pee.
Go nuts. I think I got a couple. Here. Official Taco found a Supra Mark IV for $5,000. Is that a good deal? I assume it's not a turbo, because to find one of them for under 40 grand now for a manual car and 25 for an auto would be obscene, if it was nice. I mean, I'd want to know more about it there, Official Taco. $5,000 Mark IV sounds dangerously cheap, which usually, my saying is the cheapest car you buy is the most expensive car you'll ever own, because it's cheap for a reason, especially when it's a car that is inherently valuable, not just, an car. But is that a good deal if it's nice? Yes, even if it's an NA automatic, you have a Mark IV Supra for $5,000, and it has a clean title. I would call that a good deal, but there's a lot of details there, obviously. Gilbert John, 2004 Impala SS, thoughts? I have none. Drunken Monk, coming back. I always wanted to do a beam swap, but I was so worried about all the extra baggage that comes with the swap, just like you said. So many potential problems. Yeah, I mean, the beams, if you're talking about the MR2 Gen 4 beams, or Celica beams, which was the same motor, that was... Everyone liked it before the Gen 4 3 SGTs. Even before the Gen 3 3 SGTs. Or right around the same time, because technically it's the same vintage. It's a lot of work for almost no more power. Like, yes, it makes 200 horsepower. Yes, technically it's VVTi. But it just isn't that much faster than a 5S FE. Like you said, you have turbo cars. Once you have a turbo car, you cannot go back in an MR2. You can't go to a Beams. You will literally feel like you threw a boat anchor out the side. Every time you put your foot down, nothing happens. Even at high RPM when it's on cam, it's just not. I don't have a problem with them. I think guys who like NA 4 cylinders, the MR2, that's the best one you get for your SW20. If you don't want to go turbo and you don't want to go V6. But there's no scenario where I would put one in a car if I was paying money. Here's one for you, Brian.
My wife smells like tuna again.
Kush for thoughts on supercharging a 2200 LN2 cast iron block from a Sunfire?
Okay, a Pontiac Sunfire. Thoughts on supercharging? Are you talking about a centrifugal supercharger, like the Pro Charger style? Thank you, Justin. Cool. Like, are those 2-valve engines? Thank you. What? I think it's neat. See, it's a cast iron block, so forced induction isn't going to be a problem. I think turbocharging is neater, but again, you're going for something quick, so you can just run one of those belt-driven supercharger / turbocharger things. Who makes? Are you gonna need bigger injectors? Are you gonna do like the sloppy mechanic things where you just decap injectors? To drill a hole right in them, so it sprays worse. He loves doing that. Matt Happel loves decapping injectors.
But that should make it not really work. Like if
it's gonna spray like. You want it to mist. He does it. He likes it.
It's like a hose when you put your thumb over it. Yeah. Like, well, I don't think that's even. What happens when the boost comes on? I'd like to see it actually done though, and see how it drives.
I'd like to, but there were so many people I wanted to put in his presence. But you got to come out to like that his dyno at like Sunday at 8 a.m. Of course, you've been up for 4 hours by that point.
Did we see that
Okay.
one?
I don't think we did. Thank you. TJ Toneby said, if you could have a psychedelic art piece, watercolor or pen and ink, of any vehicle, what would it be? And do you have any color preferences besides hot brown? Psychedelic art piece. So would we go 60s? Yeah, Carmen Ghia. Easy. Volkswagen Carmen Ghia. Make it all swirly.
That is all correct.
Yeah. Everything
that's
about
all
that.
correct.
That car is a piece of art. Engine is just a piece of Volkswagen junk, and drives really scary and looks amazing. Yeah, that make it all swirly.
Yeah, you nailed that.
Swirly. Don't put any palm trees in it. Just have the car and a bunch of colors, and put a butterfly in there if you want.
Maybe a pair of go-go boots in the background.
Of course. Like, no girl, it's just the boots.
Just the boots.
One falling over.
Yeah.
And, let's go full 9. Let's put a smiling Henry Kissinger in there for somewhere, for a period correctness, although that's technically 70s. When that is. Or Jackie O in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah,
she could be wearing the go-go boots.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
Yeah, thanks for the $5 there, TJ.
Thanks, TJ. Thank you for catching that one. Sometimes when it skips down, I skip back up.
Yeah, that's why I keep
one.
scrolling back up, because I know that happened to us a lot last time. Having 2 is definitely more useful.
It's just the UI that they have in this. It wants to keep jumping down to the bottom, or maybe it's some weird cache thing.
Dane Mall. Any ideas for an engine for a 1980 Corolla wagon? Not an LS.
Oh, did I skip past it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you just jumped it down. Japanese was the second part of that question. I know nothing about 1980 Corolla wagons, so I would not pretend to... Yeah, that's just auto down.
Oh, Logan McDeed said Jet A and Diesel are nearly the same. A Jet A is just more refined. Up there, did it again.
No, you're good. Yep, you're good. Yeah, that was
it's
him.
down
Yeah.
below.
That was
a
the
few
next comment I
turbo
was looking
props
for.
technically run off of avgas, which is low, 100 low lead. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
So it's leaded, but not a lot of it.
Glass.
There was a
Interesting.
tanker trailer at the Kutztown Airport when they used to rent planes there that just said 100 oct. And I always wondered what that was. And I said, can you fill up a car with that? And they said, no. Don't fill up a car that's leaded gas. Now I know what that is. So that's the gas part of a multi-fuel engine.
But interestingly, you can run leaded fuel on a gas motor. You just can't have a cat. Because it'll immediately clog the cat and destroy it. So like we would run like the gas powered drag cars will run C16. That's jet fuel. It's C16, 116 octane.
Okay.
Leaded fuel. You just can't have a cat.
Okay.
Because it'll just instantaneously clog it and then grenade the motor.
Shit.
That was explained to me by a drag guy who ran C16. That was the one I was looking for.
I just got on here. Where's Nick? This is Justin Burnash from Prime Driven, the Amazon.com of all MR2 parts. His website and his company keeps MR2s running. Anything you need, send him an email or go on his website, as also performance kits. Everything you need for your MR2 in one website.
Oh, I love Charles Lightfoot. More MR2 stuff, the better.
Yeah.
Smiley emoji. Thank you, Charles.
Where's Nick? Got that question. What do you think of the Buick Grand National? I think it's amazing. I think it's great. It makes turbo choo-choo sounds. His MR2 stuff is better because it goes faster. The thing is, when you're in a 94, 95 SW20, you realize you're in a good interior and you get the turbo sounds. You get in a Grand National, you're in an 80s GM interior.
The only thing worse than a 90s GM interior.
The thing is like, oh wow, it almost makes 300 horsepower, and you can make 300 horsepower at the crank. Great.
It's got to be a 3,700 pound car. Grand National?
Yeah. It's a Buick Regal.
Yeah, I mean that's not a light car.
3.8 liter V6.
Now I do understand that you can throw quite a bit of anger at them, and they will hold up. Has been what I've told by a friend of ours who owns a Grand National.
Yeah.
Like a bone stock one. And his buddy has like a drag one.
Okay.
And like obviously he has a lot of work in it, but he's like, you can breathe on him a decent amount, you know, without having to like get into heavy mechanics.
Right.
I love how just on a bone stock car though, the turbo is just like sitting there.
They are pretty.
It's pretty cool.
Pretty.
Like
it's nice to have
un-American.
that amount of real estate in that engine bay that you can nicely plumb everything around. You get wide curves to your pipes.
It's a cool looking engine bay.
Yeah. They have that heat shield that goes on the turbo.
I like this. Nice. From Shepard Duran. 3rd gen Eclipse is guilty pleasure. The least cool, most hateable car, but really not bad to drive with a V6 and a stick. We're going to beg to differ on that one. But I agree. Guilty. Guilty. Just not pleasure.
Majestic Turkey 56 says, thinking about getting an F-body. Okay.
Original.
Should I get a 3rd gen F-body LS swap or buy a 4th gen with it already stock? I'm going to go with 4th gen. It's already been done. Like, I know Eric, the parts guy who used to work at Moyer's Car Care, he had an F-body, and he had the V6 and wanted to do the LS swap, and I'm like, look, just buy one that already has it in. I look at F-bodies with LS swaps this way. I look at them the same way I look at ZZW30s to talk about the 2ZZ engine.
Mm-hmm.
That question came up on the Smoking Tire.
Really?
And like, is it worth swapping in? And my answer, that he said it's worth it, kind of. My answer is, it's worth swapping in if someone else did it.
Well, yeah, because you're not paying any premium for it.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. It's the ultimate buy someone else's done project car.
Yeah.
That's a real car, and they've absorbed all of the cost and time.
Right.
Yeah.
What you want is one that already has it in, whether it's been swapped in or you bought a 4th gen with it already stock. Here's the thing. You can swap in an LS into a 3rd gen, and your car is worth exactly the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's about the love of the project. Great. If you want to do that and you want to swap it in and learn how to do it, by all means go for it. But if you're if you in your head are imagining all the stuff you're going to be doing with the car when it's done, the answer is buy one that someone else did. Because if you want something fun to drive, then already buy something that's already fun. But if you want to learn how to do it, then do it yourself.
Interestingly, you're exactly right. And this has been one of the great debates between myself and my father. My father is a big fan, partially because he grew up that way, of the journey of the build.
Okay, yeah.
Now, when I was younger, yes, because you got time, right?
Yeah.
Time is not that valuable when you're young.
Yeah.
I'm talking like, late teens and early 20s, right?
Yeah.
Like, for most people, that's not super highly valuable time in their life.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the journey. And then when he gets there, he does keep it.
Yeah.
But I know so many guys in the MR2 world, it's no different in any other car worlds, as far as I've seen. But in the MR2 world, it's very common. They're serial project car guys.
Yeah.
It's just what they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
The end product is just the culmination. It's the solution. It's done. And then they sell it. And then they go buy another project and they do another thing.
I was like that with bikes.
Yeah, like I totally get it. Like I used to be that way. And then, some time goes by and time gets more valuable or more scarce.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I just want to be able to use the end product and not deal with the doing. Neither one is wrong or right. Like wherever you are, whatever you enjoy. I mean, I know 60-year-old guys that still like the journey of the build.
Yeah.
They got the time, they enjoy it, they're mechanical.
Yeah.
Like, good. Do what you enjoy.
Yeah.
But if you are the kind of guy that loves the project, do the project.
Right.
Because a done car will be boring to you. If you're a guy that just wants to go drive a car that is already done, buy a done car that's done well.
Yeah.
Because buying a done car could be buying someone else's problems.
That's the big question.
So I don't know about...
That's why I was leaning on buying the stock one that's done.
Yeah.
That's why I was able to command...
Because a stock car is obviously always going to be better because the factory did it. It has to work.
Yeah.
At least to some level.
That's why I was able to sell my DR650 for the price I got it for. And I bought a high price. I didn't make money on selling it because the first guy came up, he was nice. And he threw me an offer that, all right, fine. It wasn't a fine price. I'm like, you know what? Good. And he had cash, and he wasn't a dirtbag. So, okay. But I was able to get a price like way higher than anybody else around here for a DR650 because I had a bone stock dual sport that hasn't been wrecked or anything. It's just fine. So, yeah. So stock typically always wins when you're thinking about something that you're going to sell on. Or if you just want something good to drive, that's where you are. And you have to be honest about who you are as a person. Are you a driver or a builder? Well, I'm both.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not. I'm a driver. I learned how to swap an engine in with the full support of a commercial shop. Going
Good
back,
way to learn.
I learned a lot about that, and I learned who I was as a person. Now, I had the benefit of having 7 sponsors behind me. If I would have done that myself, that car would have ran like crap.
Or not been finished.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is often the case. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You know who you are. Like, I think most people at the end of the day, like, 2 seconds, like, which one do you want? Like, they know.
Yeah.
There's a certain joy and, and
Someone said the stream went down.
RIP stream?
Is it still running? I think it's back up. Let me check stream health. Stream health is good. We've got green light. So it maybe went down and came back up again. Leonard Roy, thanks for waiting. Thank you for your generous donation. Hey, Mr. Regular, glad I could catch another stream. I had to sell my lifted Miata. I like who you are. Reliability issues. Oh, well. I'm regretting selling it, and I gotta find a third Miata. Well, I'd say NB is your best bet. Everybody loves pop-up headlights, but let's be honest, it's more complexity than is needed. And Miatas didn't build their headlights the way Toyota did. So
true story.
Yeah.
Nor did almost anyone.
you gotta, the thing with first gen Miatas is that's why there's all those kits to have just the little pods in there, or that's why you see everybody up who just crank them up and have them there because they break.
Because you can do that.
Yeah.
The MR2 has those manual cranks. I've never seen someone use them. Out of necessity.
Yeah.
Out of necessity.
Yeah.
Because they're Toyota. They just work. Shockingly, 27 years old. Right. They still freaking... The Mark 1s at over 30 years old.
Yeah.
They still freaking work.
Yeah.
Like every Fiero and Camaro you see, they're all like...
I saw those Camaros from like 2002, the WS6s. When you hear those pop-up headlights come up, they pop up. Oh, I hear some bro off valve. Is that who I think it is? There's this guy in my town with a white Fiesta ST. It's just popping his. Anyway, yeah, the WS6 Camaro Firebird with pop-up headlights. Yeah, when they popped up, they sounded like full ice cubes coming out of a fridge dispenser, like a freezer dispenser. They weren't as smooth, like.
Yeah, the MR2 is. It sounds like what it is, an electric motor.
Yeah. Leonard Roy. Okay. Oh yeah, selling it. I guess I got to find a third Miata. Yeah. NB. Your best bet. Like my recommendation, see, when I give recommendations to cars of stuff I want to buy, I say buy the Mazda Speed Miata. Have that turbo, have that factory turbo.
I've not seen one on the road since they came out, and it was in gunmetal gray.
Really?
It was a good look.
Yeah.
But I've not seen one since then. Do you have any around here?
There's a guy I know who has one building it, but it's broken. Because, they went for the boost controller and broke stuff.
Yeah, they went for it. Yeah, we got... what is the 93 Dodge Daytona the official car of it's the Costanza?
Run that by me again. I was looking for ones I missed.
What is the 1993 Dodge Daytona the official car of?
Nice DeLorean. Because that's what the guy who owned one I saw at Chrysler National said, that people thought it was a DeLorean. Because of the back, I guess, the louvers in the back.
It's not close at all.
The Shelby things, the official car of...
Carol Shelby's regret.
It's the official car of owning Carol Shelby stuff, having the helmet. No, that's a lie. That's the guy who buys the Factory 5, who has the may or may not have been signed by Carol Shelby racing helmet that he takes with him.
But most likely not.
Yeah. That car, you'll never. That's the car of the Craigslist ad. You'll never find a good one. You'll never find a one like this again. And all of them have the bolstering around the seats. All those seams are ripped out.
Yeah.
So many of them I've seen that seam that goes in because they're all, you know, Uncle pull tabs with a beer belly, and they do the water slide. Wait, no, it's not a truck, so you don't slide out of the seat. But do those things have pillarless doors or not? Oh, all the steering racks are messed up because they use the steering wheel as a hang handle, and they slide across.
Yeah, you can't use the A-pillar like a human.
No.
Yeah.
That's what the home of fucked up seats. Will you ever have a home meet in PA? We had one last year. It was at the Racquetball Club. We didn't this year because I've been just so busy. And now we're moving into October, prime boost season. And I just want to get out there. I want to get another motorcycle. Already I've been on Craigslist. Someone asked, like, if I sold my DR650, what am I get? What am I? Oh, Leonard Roy said it was a lifted NB, funnily enough. Well, there you go, man. I say avoid the NC, the third gen. It's just more the NB with a bigger body. Like, if you're going to spend the money, go right and get an ND. I mean, when I drove one in England, UK, it was good. It was very Miata, and that's the complete end of it. The only thing you can do with an NC Miata is just leave it stock and just drive around and enjoy having a convertible. That's all it's really good for.
It's a perfectly good car if you want that car.
And car.
Yes, and sports car. Hodo Sam. Opinion on my Isuzu Impulse RS.
Oh, I like the cut of this guy's text. Yeah, Impulse. God damn.
God, I remember that.
That's Radwood fresh.
Yeah.
You going to Radwood?
No.
Wow, okay.
I don't go to. All I do is work.
Oh, sorry,
all I do is help the MR2 guys.
Thank you for doing that.
What and where is Radwood?
Radwood is an all 80s and 90s car show.
I need to get out more. Is what I'm saying.
It's at the. It was in Southern California for a long time, and they're doing their first East Coast one at the Philly Navy Yard.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
I have it on my calendar. Hold on. Three Sundays from now, October 7th. Wait, I think I'm wrong. October 14th.
Interesting. That sounds like it'd be cool to go to. Let's see. That
I want to try to convince my dad to let me drive his 1990 Toyota Cressida with 80,000 original miles on it.
Yes. We could bring giveaway car number 8 there.
Radwood.
Interesting.
It's a lot of people dress up for it, like in like their 80s style.
So is this not like a Weckfest?
What's Weckfest?
Weckfest is like stance.
No, this is just general 80s and 90s nostalgia.
Interesting.
Like one of the
in Philly.
Yeah, this is our first East Coast one.
Huh.
Before all of them were Southern California, where everything doesn't rust.
Coast,
yeah. Like one of
that's where that stuff survived.
There was this one guy who like won. I don't know if they have awards, but it was like notable standouts at least. Like, was a guy who had a freaking '93 Escort with like 10,000 miles on it.
What color was it?
Purple.
Oh, I was gonna go with that like emerald green.
Yeah, it was like a guy in his like early 50s. Like,
he bought it new.
Yeah, I just had this.
I had it.
Fuck.
I bought it and then I didn't drive it because it was so uninteresting. There is an Ann car.
Yeah. Like, God damn it. I like this guy. PP Glider says, why is the Ridgeline so much cooler than the Pilot? Yeah, you know, when I look at Ridgelines, I'm like, Honda Ridgelines, like, it's kind of neat.
It's a Pilot with a bed.
Is that really? Is the same?
That's
same...
all it is.
Oh,
yes.
really? Oh.
Yeah, which is funny that would be then the comment.
I like them.
Well, I mean, it's cooler because it's got a bed.
Yeah,
and not a more row of seats for children. I mean, I think he explained exactly why it was cooler just by in the question.
Timothy Schokel said your review led me to buy a Toyota Corolla. Okay, like people just like my review went.
What year Corolla was this?
I had a 99 or 98 Corolla I reviewed. The wheel covers were gone, so it was just the black steelies. And I'm like, look. This car will be $2,000 forever.
Yes.
But this is the best $2,000 you can ever possibly spend. And the review begins with just a straw man argument. But I use like a pair of like sunglasses just sitting on the table because I couldn't get an actor. But it was one of my favorite intros I've ever done. It just said, "Hi, I'm your basic bro friend you never knew from high school, or you never talked to in high school. I heard you like a lot about cars. What kind of car should I get?" Mazda Miata MX-5. "No, I need a car." Well, what do you want? "Oh, I don't know. I just want something that drives I just want something that drives." Toyota Corolla. "Yeah, but I don't know. I want something a little bit classy." And I can't remember what I said. No, I don't want something that boring. Ford Fiesta ST. "Oh, that's ways too expensive." Toyota Corolla. "Well, what exactly are you going to do with the car?" "Oh, I just want something that's not going to break." A Toyota Corolla. It's like, yeah, but I want something a little bit different. And so I asked something.
S.
No, I don't have that Corolla. Toyota Corolla. It's like, I was thinking about a Pontiac Sunfire, just Toyota Corolla. You have no imagination, anything else. You want an appliance, and you're not going to get an Acura.
It is the epitome of an appliance. And a fantastic appliance.
At that.
And it's half the price of the Civic, which is the same thing.
No, yeah. And it was like a 99 Corolla. It's like, great.
Delicious.
Good. What should I do to it? Put a head unit in it. That's it.
Yeah.
Just a Bluetooth JVC. Like Nick put a JVC head unit in his 04 Mustang. I have a Kenwood
for $60 off Crutchfield.
Yeah. Oh, he had Best Buy points.
Oh,
fancy Dan.
He likes a bragger.
But I went to Crutchfield and I bought my Kenwood. The only thing I went,
it's not even fair. It's like free.
Yeah.
Like I remember back in high school for my Alpine head unit with only CD.
Oh shit!
And the removable face, so you don't want it to get stolen. Yeah. And it was $300.
Motherfucker.
And I was like, how do you sleep at night?
Did yours come with that little vinyl or leatherette, same thing, pouch that you could take
and put the face in? Yeah.
Put the face in.
Yeah. Like, who is putting this in here? I'm throwing it in the glove box. Actually, I never pulled it off in the first place. Because it was in my 1991 Aquamarine Pearl MR2 NA bone stock. No one saw that car except for the ladies in high school. And one of them had an Eclipse, a Gen 1 Eclipse GSX.
What motor did
the all-wheel drive turbo.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Black and silver two-tone. It was that
where they had the bulge in the hood for the cam?
A baby bulge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was the squarer body one. Yeah. And she was in love with my MR2. And I was like, well, your car's way faster, so I'm not gonna let you drive my car. Because it'll be embarrassing.
Yeah.
But to be fair. It was a cool car. I mean, they didn't generally last that long, but
we have our one Eclipse, or it's a Talon. I'm sorry, review, and it just starts about with
the TSI.
Yeah. Like, here we have a 1994. And it just pans out. That fluid's green, isn't it?
Yes, that car.
Jeff V. Thank you for $20, sir. Thank you. As a former Stealth owner, okay, I'm sorry about my review. I ripped into that Stealth.
Well, my mom owned the V6 one.
That's what we had. We had the V6.
She loved it. It was red.
Oh, you loved your review. Oh, thank you for liking it. The sad and predictable forum meltdown was the icing on the cake. Oh, people hate. There was like downvotes. I'm saying, look, this thing is great to look at, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a Dodge Mitsubishi.
They went, oh no, it's technically not a DSM. Mitsubishi did everything. It was like your talk about the 300ZX with the spark plugs and everything. Maintenance is atrocious.
Horrible. V6s are compromised by design. It was because straight sixes take up too much room, and V8s were too gas hungry. So they invented V6s. They chopped off 2 cylinders. They had a V6. There's a reason they have huge harmonic balancers, and their oil pans leak after 100,000 miles in every single one of them because they're trying to tear themselves to pieces all the time. The manufacturers have just become so efficient at manufacturing them that they're now good enough that it's not a problem. Yeah. But it's inherently, it was not a 4-cylinder, not a V8. Like, it's a compromise. Yeah. It's packaging. It's a compromise. It's transverse, so you get more cabin room.
People like to say they have a V engine.
Yeah, they're just wrong on like every scenario. Not that there aren't good ones. Alfa Romeo comes to mind. Ooh. But a compromise by design isn't awesome. No. It's good. It's designed to be good. It's designed to be
like, I know this is a Toyota centric show, but the V6 that was in the Highlander, fine. Oh, same engine that was in the Toyota Crown. That was nice. A completely ignorable engine. God damn, I miss that Crown. And then over there in New Zealand, people didn't think anything of it. I'm like, this is freaking amazing. Yeah, you open the door, a little sign makes a crown emblem on the floor. I'm like, yeah, it was like early 2000s, but everything in it was just up trim.
Yeah. The Japanese, I mean, they got some great stuff. Like, my favorite imported car right now. Yeah. Because I love a car with a person name, because they're never good. Is, I believe it's the Nissan Gerald. It's
what is this?
It's an car. It's like when I look at some of these like JDM importers, like for cars, like the actual car importers, some of the stuff they bring over and sells instantly. Yeah, is like the most random twaddle like that there is. Like in Japan, it's got to be $1,000 car. Yeah, and it's like $8,000 here. Shit. Now, to be fair, they brought over a container. There's import fees. Like there's thousands of dollars to get it here. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was the Gerald. Like Nissan loves the names. Toyota loves the symbols and the letters. They love the letters. Oh, this is the TYGX935Z. What? That doesn't even make any sense for an engineer. But yeah, no, I love that. But the Cressida, I've not driven a Cressida.
You want to drive my dad's?
But I like them on principle.
Go over to my dad's house.
Japanese Camry, right?
Yeah. You can go over to my parents' house. They got one. It just sits outside. It's maroon. Oh. The funny thing about maroon on maroon. Yes. Gray interior. Leather's all cracking. Everything ahead. Well, audio was never Toyota's strong point.
No, never.
Yeah. So the radio sounds like crap, but the electric antenna still
the
wants.
Audio. Yeah. The Germans. Ride quality, handling, audio. All right, to be fair, the Germans do a lot of things well. Yeah. You just have to pay to keep them on the road.
That's the fucking thing, man. People like to sidestep around that.
Well, like
they don't like third-party manufacturers. They don't like AC Delco making even simple stuff like calipers and like. Well, actually, when you go to
well, once you get like 10-year-old, you can get anything. Yeah. BMW off any generic parts website for nothing. Like, because they made millions and millions of them. Because those are global brands. Okay. Right? Like, Toyota in America is not a global brand. It's not the same car in Japan. Oh. GM is not a global brand.
Oh, yeah. They got their European platforms.
They're different. Now, Ford came back and came out of their, the 2008, the crash. Mm-hmm. They came out of everything. They're the only American, one of the big three that didn't take the bailout.
That's true.
And came out of it on the back of their Europe brand. Yeah. Their Europe brand had been making great cars for decades.
I wish
they just never brought them here because they were like, we're just minting money on tortoises. Yeah. Like, we don't care, and neither does anybody else. Yeah. Then they brought them over, and they were like, wow, these are actually really good cars. And they look good. Now, Are they as good as like a Japanese car in terms of ultimate reliability and cost of ownership? Well, no. But, you know, more interesting though.
They are interesting. I was at Bruce Henn's garage and they were getting into a delightful Coyote versus LS argument. Because
Coyote's so much more modern motor.
It is a modern motor. But one of the weird things that brought up, like Bruce Henn, Ford guy. So he likes the Coyote. Jeff, one of the guys who works there, LS guy. And it was enough argument that they had to put their feet down from the counter during lunch to actually get on Bruce's computer and look up at what the block looks like on those 4-cylinder, the 2.3 or 2.4 engines that they put in the Focuses and the 4-cylinder Mustang.
Yes.
The turbocharged one. And they say, look at this block that they make.
Which was in the Mazda Speed 3 too.
Correct.
Yeah. Which is a good motor.
You take off the head, you're looking directly at the short block, nothing on it. And you see that the individual cylinders don't have bracing on anywhere. The cylinders float. There is just the water jacket goes completely around them. And Jeff's argument is that is the dumbest thing in the world. Because now you're going to have head gas. That's why they're having head gasket problems, because you're allowing shifting to happen there. Slight movements of that cylinder left and right. They should have put bracing in there. And that's my weird thing about Ford doing that. They did it for cooling, and I wonder if some bean counter realized that they saved some T&M and like,
I would imagine you would.
Like some less materials.
Anytime you
making
delete
that.
things, you generally save manufacturing costs. And, you know, if you're an American manufacturer, the end user, secondary. Because the first guy that buys it isn't going to have this problem.
Correct.
He's going to get rid of this car. He's either going to lease it for 3 years, or he's going to get rid of it 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah. It's like American trucks, $60,000 for a Ram dually.
Unbelievable.
And 5 years later, the quarters are gone. What? And the brake lines are gone. What? It's a $60,000 truck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the first owner is going to have it that long, so they don't care. They already bought another one.
Yeah.
They don't bother. They don't even know about it.
Oh, shit.
The Japanese and the Germans, they've had stainless brake lines since the 70s.
Right.
Like, it wasn't rocket science, but like $1 a brake. If it was just $1 a brake line.
Yeah.
For 20 million cars a year.
Yeah.
20 million bucks.
Have the copper.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have this mild steel.
I have a roll of the easy to bend copper.
The copper's the best because it's so, you can bend it by hand. You don't even need it. You don't even need the bender. It's wonderful. Brian actually did that on our, speaking of Camrys.
Yeah.
We did one and only one Gen 4 3 SGT swapped Camry All-Track. 1991, the last year of the first gen Camrys.
I like it.
It was originally an automatic car because they didn't do manual all-wheel drives.
Okay.
We swapped it to an ST205 Selca All-Track all-wheel drive trans.
Okay.
And then it's got axles and everything and the Gen 4 and all that stuff. And the owner now, his name is Jim Doan down in Florida. He also owns a pristine light blue metallic 85 AW11 MR2. His wife actually drives the Camry relatively regularly. That car was blue on blue velour.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, 80,000 miles, like beautiful. And that we did that car just really for fun.
Yeah.
And then we brought it to Bear Mountain, you know, the big MR2 meet, which is this Saturday actually.
Shit.
This Saturday. The show in China is from 11 to 2. It's only like, I mean, well, from here, probably 2 hours.
This Saturday. Well, if I don't shoot, all I need to do is remember that from the time to the end of this podcast.
You want me to text you? Reminder?
Yeah.
I'm also gonna text.
While you do that, I'll get to these questions.
Do that.
Mark Walters said, do you know the 70s Cressa Woody wagon? Thoughts? I think it's fucking amazing. Wait, did the 70s, did they have the mirrors? They had to have the wing mirrors, like down on the quarter panels? I think that's sexy as shit. I love that. Yeah, I love
wing mirrors on the quarter on the fenders. Yeah,
it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on American cars though. I saw Falcons rolling around
because they weren't not supposed to be that way.
No,
Japanese cars.
The reason they put on Falcons and stuff is so that you can still open the smoker windows, the quarter windows, and not have them hit the mirrors. I have 2 mirrors for my Falcon. Actually, one of the mirrors for my Falcon is holding up the webcam. there's a Falcon in there from FalconParts.com.
Incredible.
And it's never been on my car. I gotta just sell those 2 mirrors. I'm never gonna put them on my car because I can't bring myself to drill into those body panels. And like, no cop has given me a single problem, and I have a Broadway mirror. I see everything. Whatever. Joseph, thank you for $2. Should I buy a 1988 Jeep Wagoneer? If you're going to flip it, yes. If you're going to drive it, no. If you want to sell it to someone in Martha's Vineyard, yes. If you can buy that thing for like $5,000, yes. Make it as clean as you can. Change, if you buy it, just change the disposable stuff. Flush the brake lines, new brake pads, new rotors if you can get them cheap enough. Change the oil. I guess, I think they had reverse flow heads, so maybe you can adjust the valves. Just get it running nice, sell that motherfucker.
I forgot what I was going to text you.
Time for Bear Mountain.
Yes.
Okay, Jeep Wagoneer. Next guy, Dan Dunlop. Thank you for donation, sir. Good evening, boys. Good evening to you, sir, Dan. Having to work right now, or heading to work right now, but wanted to drop in and say thanks for the content. Well, thank you so much for being a fan. Looking forward to listening to this later tonight. Yep, it'll be up on YouTube, and also Nick will rip the audio and put it up on iTunes later tonight.
Yeah, and I'll text you the link.
I think that was just Dan Dunlop, and that was it. Rotor, why didn't you call her instead? Whackity schmackity.
I had some.
Here's a very long name that ends with X Ben. I wanted to know your thoughts about. I wanted to know why you thought Dodge Stealths were overpriced. Well, clearly, the MR2 is a better value. The beginning of the video, you said that, but all the Stealths and 3000 GTs were well under 7,500, and I got mine for 2,100. Well, you got a great deal, sir. I hope every single switch is working in that car. They were very overcomplicated. They were pushing 90s technology to the absolute limit. And as Justin Burnash said, all Pioneers get arrows in the back, or bullets in the back, depending on what you're doing.
Depending on who you're fighting.
It was a lot of technology for its time. You know, sometimes Pioneers are great, like Mercedes.
Well, we need the Pioneers.
Yeah.
But they're gonna take the shots.
It is 7 p.m. Normally at this time, you are winding down your day. So, yeah, we got Jeff V, the former Stealth owner. You got the drinks, so if you want, we can definitely go to my friend Joey's restaurant if you are feeling food. That will definitely be on me.
I can always go for food. I think I saw one or a couple here I want to miss for us here.
I keep calling him Joey. I gotta call him Joe, but we went to Sunday school together, and so like the cement memories of my friend Joe Matera is Joey Matera, but now he owns a restaurant, and I highly recommend wings. He does wings very well. Course, actually,
wings, and I could eat wings and ribs all day, every day, for the rest of my life. We're going to a wing place.
We're going to, yeah.
Oh, come on now.
He likes to do more, like, he went to culinary school and everything. He does, like, challenging stuff. He was serving duck a few years ago.
Ooh,
so
crispy duck's one of my favorites.
It's definitely anyway. Love
Okay,
Joe.
so we had one question here. CTSV wagon RCR material. Is that not regular enough? Car.
We did the Harb. I didn't do a CTSV wagon. You know, the guy who did
cool car.
When I was thinking of stuff to replace the Honda Fit, that was on the list somewhere as like a camera car, a CTSV wagon. Like, can I get a thing? But the rear window of that. I mean,
It's all style.
Here's the thing about photography and shooting through back windows. You want that back window flat because you want to shoot through the least amount of glass you can.
Yeah, like Jeep style.
Yeah. Ideally,
or Subaru style.
most of the guys who do use camera cars will use Range Rovers. That is out of my price range.
Top Gear.
Yep.
All Range Rovers.
Yeah, they ride great, and that rear window goes down. They're not shooting through an extra sheet of glass that they don't have to. I don't have that kind of bankroll, and I'm honestly not a big Land Rover fan to begin with.
Not if you have to pay to maintain it.
Right.
No. Hey, you're gonna lease a new one.
Yeah. Hey, great.
You got, $1,200 a month. I mean, you're good.
Yeah, forget it.
Camera car, done.
Yeah. Write that shit off.
Interestingly, you can write off some of that, but it's not enough to make it worthwhile.
Exactly. I wrote off my $5,000 Subaru Forester. Done. I'm gonna drive that car until it has some valve clatter that goes on. Whatever.
It's Japanese.
Is it running?
It won't not run.
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run that car, or unless I find a turbo one, because then
P.S. My partner Brian, he had briefly an automatic 2.5 XT.
Yeah.
Forester.
I have no love for the automatic. Go along. Keep going.
Well, the trans was destroyed.
Oh.
But she has some guts, and it's not the exact WRX motor. It's gutsier.
It's because the WRX is running a 2-liter. There's a 2.5
at that point. Yeah,
people call it. Well, it's the STI.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. It's the STI minus the heads. Minus the ECU.
The
minus
block
the
is
injector.
effectively the STI. Yes, but that's just displacement. That doesn't inherently do you any good if you don't have flow and everything. But even still, that thing moved.
Does move
like
hills.
You hit the kick down, and it was like, oh! I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah. Brandon Stoller says, will you please say hi to Aaron's? Will you please say hi to the Aarons in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, in your now we get to sound out syllables. Mellifluous. Thank you, Justin. Voice, good sir. Thank you for the wonderful offbeat content and lawns. Well, hello, Aarons from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Thank you for being in Wisconsin, dealing with the lake effect snow in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I enjoy your state. Say hello to everybody in the Upper Peninsula there in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Thank you for the wonderful offbeat support that I get from you, Aarons, in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I hope that was satisfactory to you. Hey guys, great to see Justin's back since Meredith. Always happy to have Justin here and having a real expert with us. I'm just gonna...
Thank you, Meredith. You're the best.
We are going to be wrapping this up soon.
James Murphy
says, hey, Mr. R, James Murphy, what do you think of the newer diesels here in the U.S., like the Chevy Cruze, Equinox, and the Mazda CX-5? I had someone offer me up a diesel manual, 6-speed manual Cruze.
Really?
With a diesel. It was the same guy who had...
they put out almost immediately with a hybrid.
They offered a diesel hybrid.
No, they had a gas hybrid.
Okay.
Like almost right after it came out, it was the gas, got good gas mileage, and then it was the hybrid.
Yeah.
And they have a diesel now?
Diesel with a 6-speed manual on a Cruze.
What? The Dodge Ram of Chevy Cruzes?
I am interested in it. The volunteer who offered it to us is a previous volunteer who had I think an early second gen or first or second gen Camaro with a 427 swap in it. I did it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, this had no overdrive, glass pack exhaust, loud as all hell.
Yeah.
Sexy as shit to look at. Split lip bumper. Yeah. It's everything you want in an American classic muscle car. Yeah. Early 70s Camaro with a 427 big block in it.
It's got 427 on it. Yeah.
It was sexy. But yeah, he has one. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for as many manuals as you can continue making, and there's nothing wrong with a manual diesel.
I mean, mileage.
Yeah.
I don't even imagine. I don't know what the displacement is in that. I imagine a 2-liter.
Yeah.
But I gotta imagine that thing will do 60, 70 miles.
I think that's great. Just give that to me in a. Wait, Subaru did make diesel flat fours, didn't they? For the European market.
Yes, not here. Yeah.
Fuck,
Everybody made diesels not here.
Yeah.
Because everyone, up to 5 years ago, to be fair, diesels were diesels.
Yeah.
Now, you can't even tell. Like, the modern diesel, it doesn't sound like... Even a truck diesel doesn't sound like...
Unless you're a diesel, bro.
Yeah, unless you're a bro. Yeah, go for it. We have another question from Meredith. What are you guys drinking tonight? Well, if you were here earlier, Meredith, you would have heard that.
This is my selection, one of my favorite Scotch whiskeys, not a true Scotch, a lot of that I've learned. This is Tomatin. Runs about $25 a bottle. This is my go-to whiskey. I like the bite, and I like the sweetness and the tartness of it, and the nice finish of it. Justin Burnash bought Glenfiddich 15. That is dangerously delicious. Thank you so much for introducing.
Too delicious.
Yeah.
Yes, normally in New Jersey a $90 bottle. In Pennsylvania, apparently a $60 bottle. Probably not worth the 2-hour drive for the difference, but certainly a nice bonus once I got here.
Yeah. Hi, Derek. This may be our last question for the night. Seriously, check your Twitter. It's hilariously relevant to your first Miata review at 289. I don't have my phone with me right now.
Can I check your Twitter for you?
Yeah, check my Twitter. I guess, did someone tweet at me?
Somebody's got a...
Someone's barbecuing something.
Oh, man, it smells incredible.
Oh, wings soon. I'm going to get wings, and I'm going to get Brussels sprouts with them. I love that. James, don't your legs hit the steering wheel? I know what they mean. Whiskey is love. Yes, it is. And it's so strange with whiskey that you're really just drinking wood. It's just wood and just sometimes burnt wood. This is all this is. Ethanol and wood. And yet, us humans enjoy this. It's mildly not safe for work, so maybe not on stream. I don't know. Someone just said nerd, plenty of room for legs. I guess the people are talking to each other in the channel.
They do seem to be doing that, which is good. Okay, interaction with interaction. I'm not sure what you're checking on the
how do you
Twitter
feel
here.
Meredith asks, how do you feel about bourbon whiskey? Well, very American. And when
Bourbon is not whiskey. Bourbon is corn mash. Whiskey is barley malt.
Oh.
So how do we feel? It doesn't exist. Also, bourbon technically has to be made in American oak casks to be considered bourbon. Bourbon, like many alcohols, whiskey in Scotland, different wines in France, but not in America or elsewhere in the world, have specific criteria on quantity of corn mash to water and the barrels. The barrels for bourbon have to be virgin oak charred.
So they burn the inside.
Yes, and there are different levels of char.
Oh.
Interestingly, I found this out. I'm not seeing anything of interest on your Twitter.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But yeah, I went to a bourbon distillery up in near West Point because I'm a military history enthusiast.
Nice.
I went there with my lovely girlfriend, and I don't know how she suffered through the military history part, but maybe it was the bourbon. But we went to this distillery, and he told like the whole story about it. I believe the number was it had to be 70% water and 30% corn mash. And they had to hit a certain degree, like 120 degrees in the distilling process. It was like he was a chemist by trade, and then he wanted to do something like cool with chemistry, not in corporate. And so he started his own bourbon distillery. But yeah, I never knew that. And I also asked him because in Scotch, the youngest Scotch you're going to find is a 10-year-old.
Okay.
12 is generally the normal minimum. But in bourbon, you don't ever see older than 9. I said, why? He said, technically, because after 9 years, because it's charred ahead of time, and Scotch casks are not charred, whether they're oak or port or sherry like Macallan, they're not charred. They're stuff, vinted in them beforehand, and then you put the Scotch in to get some of that flavor. Yeah, because the bourbon casks are virgin and then charred. After 9 years, you are basically you lose 3% a year to the angel share. Yeah, in any hard liquor. Yeah, which is why a 30-year is so expensive compared to a 12-year. Right, because you lost 90% of it. Yeah. But yeah, he said because after 9 years, it doesn't get any better. Okay. So it's not cost effective. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why make it older when the quality doesn't go up? Yeah. In Scotch, the quality in terms of smoothness goes up, but your volume at 3% a year is you literally have 10% left. Fuck. And I went to an event with the Macallan ambassador for the United States. Yeah. How'd you get it? How'd you get there? It was just like this cool, it was at like some fancy place in the Oranges in New Jersey. Yeah. Perks of being in New Jersey. Well, there's not a lot of them, but that's one of them. And he explained that the 30-year-old Macallan actually out of that 10% that was left, they took 16% of that. Yeah. So 1.6% of the total volume that went into that cask is what they actually put into the bottles. And you cannot buy a Macallan 25 or 30 at the store. You have to buy it at auction because they only produce X amount of it, and it's way less than demand is.
I wonder if some people like invest in that.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Just like really expensive wines, people do invest in really expensive scotches. I've had Macallan 25 and 30 from a wealthy friend of mine who was very nice.
Yeah.
And she liked it, but she wasn't like, crazy about it. So she's like, go for it.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, I mean, it ruins everything else for you.
God
so
damn.
like, it's not something that I would advise.
First class of whiskey.
Yeah, like it's hard to go back, but it was at $2,500 a bottle for the 25 and $5+ for the 30.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pay that for it.
Right.
I would get the Glenfiddich 15, for in New Jersey $90 a bottle, and have 75% of the drinking experience.
Yeah,
but it is cool. They come in like this whole basically like a funeral cask.
Wow.
Like a casket.
Metal?
No, it's like cardboard and wood and silk, and it's very elaborate. It's very Macallan. Because it's not Macallan, it's called the Macallan.
Oh.
Not a Macallan.
Man.
But yeah, I digress.
Joseph Machado? Mr. Regular, longtime fan. Your review encouraged me to buy an FRS.
That was a phenomenal hiccup.
You bought a good car. I modded to make 200s at the wheels with naturally aspirated. So okay, it's they claim they claim 200 at the crank.
Which
I remember
170 at the wheels in a rear wheel drive car.
So that's not a cold air intake that's doing that. I'm guessing
that's
there's some
sort a cold air. So cold air, exhaust, headers. I mean 200 wheel all motor on a Subaru motor. He's got everything thrown at it.
Tune,
he would have a flash too. Yeah. He would need a flash.
Ignition, advance.
Yeah, I mean the flashes are amazing. Like I don't have the luxury of this in the old Toyota world because all Toyota ECUs are locked. Since that's not a Toyota, as a Subaru ECU is not locked. But yeah, I mean, like a bone stock bug eye at WRX.
Oh, those
We'll do like 30 all wheel horsepower more on flash.
Okay.
It's insane. Like it's like a $300 flash from Cobb. Like boop, done. Like you just can't do that.
Why do people leave the Cobb thing always on? That little Nokia looking phone thing.
Because it's my dynamic gauge, bro. It's just like having your wideband on your A-pillar.
Okay.
You're like, oh, look at my numbers moving. How impressive.
Look at my numbers moving.
Well, they don't stop. They just keep moving. Yeah, I mean, interestingly, when we were building cars, we would have guys, because this was my preference, we would have guys say specifically, because a lot of the builds we did were for like full-on builds, like top to bottom ground up builds, were for older guys, late 30s, late 40s, in some cases early 60s. They'd be like, I don't want anything. I don't want any gauges in the interior.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to know there's something done to it.
Yeah, I like that.
They don't even know what the car is most of the time. Most people do not know what an MR2 is if they see it.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that?
Yeah, I was at this. I brought my 88 MR2 to the markets at Shrewsbury with a good friend. Sorry for being old. David Coletti. And some people looked at it and like, the hell is this thing? Is this a Ferrari?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is.
It's a faux Rari. Yeah.
But yeah, I like the no gauges. And it's something that you said that there's, if you get a prime built MR2, there's no point of having that AFR gauge there.
No, because you're on a stock ECU.
Yeah.
The stock ECU, Toyota's got it covered.
Yeah.
In terms of your AFRs. They did it. And tested it and put millions of dollars and gajillions of hours into making sure it works and makes power.
Yeah.
Monitoring it just means you have an opportunity to play backyard mechanic.
Yeah.
Which you are probably not qualified for if you are asking a question about it.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, if you have a standalone, You have a wideband because you're tuning to it. But on a stock ECU, like, it's working or it's not.
Yeah.
And if it's not working, it goes into limp mode to stop you from blowing it up, because that's what the factory does.
Yeah.
I need to clarify one thing, actually. My comment on bourbon is not whiskey. That's technically not accurate. Everything is whiskey. Bourbon is whiskey. Scotch is whiskey. Whiskey is not bourbon. And whiskey is not necessarily Scotch. So whiskey to be Scotch has to be made in Scotland. Whiskey to be bourbon has to be made in America, in American virgin oak charred.
Okay.
Just to be clear, I don't want to get in the aftermath here, about my faux pas. But I felt that was necessary. Also, I should mention that West Point was actually my girlfriend's idea. It hurts me. It hurts me to mention that. For me to give her credit, but credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
I love military history.
Yeah.
Apparently, she liked it just as much.
Cool. Burgundy Burnouts is a staple of every single thing we do. He's a very generous person. He has no questions, but thank you so much for your $10. He is working on WS6's project. Oh, I'm sorry.
Burgundy Burnouts was on like 3 times last time we were on last time.
Yeah. He is building.
What up, Burgundy?
He is building a diesel Firebird. No, I'm sorry. He is not. He is not. He is building an all-wheel drive Subaru driveline into a Firebird. It's gonna be an all-wheel drive Firebird.
What year Firebird?
I don't know. Tell us, Burgundy Burnouts.
What
that's
year
what he's
Burgundy?
Building. He is. There's going to be a delay here in the stream, but tell us about the all-wheel drive project.
Oh, interesting. Josiah Mikado said
all-wheel drive EJ 25/7 into a 2002 Firebird.
Oh, the WS6 chassis. Nice.
He is going to upset.
I love it.
Upset a lot of people, and it's going to be a freaking amazing. You got to have that in the snow.
I love it.
All-wheel drive.
I love it for the ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Josiah Mikado was the 86 guy. He said, yeah, all correct. I have everything FT86 factory had for NA. Yeah, FT86 Speed Factory. They're the big. They were like the first mover, I think, in 86.
Oh, world. Good.
They're serious.
Were they the same guys
company.
who offered that supercharger kit?
Everyone offers supercharger kits. Okay. You can get one from Edelbrock. You can get one from there are like 1 or 2 other like non-American names. I feel like Vortec does one. But yeah, Edelbrock does I believe the only screw type. There may be one other screw type. And Edelbrock is running relatively low boost, so it's not that noisy. But the other one, God, I wish I could remember the name. It has the American V8 super screw type supercharger whine.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that noise. Coming from turbos, you just don't get that.
Right.
Similar, but not the same.
I'm still more fan of turbos. Love RCR, Jersey boy now, based in All Bets Are Off, Florida. Oh, a Jersey boy moved to Florida. Birthday totes, drinking scotch on a pre-fall weekend. The moment your balls shrink, just that much. Wait, what? Don't know what that meant.
Wait, what was it? What is it?
Love RCR, Jersey boy now based in All Bets Are Off, Florida. Birthday toast to drinking scotch on a pre-fall weekend. That moment your balls shrink?
Just that much. I don't know. Are you getting
that moment?
Cold when you're in Florida, there's nothing cold.
Right. Aaron Kermanek, what'd you see?
Sorry, I saw Claudio Bizama. Someone needs to do a rear engine front wheel car forte lulls for the lulls.
Take a rear engine car and make it front wheel drive.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
And it's just a backwards rear engine car, so you theoretically just reverse it.
Do it with a Panther body. Because if you fuck up, who cares?
Who cares? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I had a Panther.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah, the Interceptor.
You bought a P71.
Oh, yeah.
You were that guy.
Yep, the 2004.
What color was it? Was it a
gray detective's car?
Everybody says they got the detective's car. Did you get a detective's car?
Yep. Yeah, they'd welded in a piece of metal very crudely.
Yeah.
To block off where the spotlight used to be.
Uh-huh.
And it was obviously originally they were all white, and then they were painted to whatever color they wanted to be. So Ford shipped them white.
Really?
So when you pull open like the floor mats and stuff or the trunk carpet, it's white.
Really?
Yeah, because they color changed them all.
Huh.
You just manufacture them one color down to a price because you're Ford.
Oh.
You know, and you're doing a fleet vehicle.
Yeah.
And then but when you pull everything open, like they just sprayed them.
So who sprayed them?
I don't know. I don't know if like I know some people that work for the police department mechanical stuff and like they have like contracts, so I imagine they have body shops to do the same thing. Like it's just, you know, scuff and spray. Like here's a brand new car. We want it gray now. It's white. Shh. $1,000.
Wow.
Here you go, America. You know.
Okay.
But that car, you will never be pulled over in that car. Now, obviously, there's a lot more Chargers.
Yeah.
You know, and you got Explorers and all that stuff. But I would drive down the highway. The most fun part about that car.
When did you have it?
Probably the first time we met. Probably the first time we met is probably when I had it. So 3 years ago.
Yeah, that was on the last gaps of the Panther body being used in departments.
Yeah. It was right on the ragged edge of when it was there. But it was, you drive down the fast lane in that car at night, and everyone just moves out of your way.
Really?
It's like the parting of the seas. And my friend, who is like super wealthy and drives like fast cars all the time, and drives fast all the time. Yeah, he drove it once when we were driving back from the city at a charity event we went to. And he was drunk with power because you believe you're never going to get pulled over.
New York or Philly?
Well, we were in New York. We were coming back to Jersey. Okay. So we're already in Jersey. And he was doing like 100 in the fast lane. You know, like 80, no one's looking at you. You know, 90, probably still not. You hit triple digits. Like if you blow by a real cop, like
he's going to know.
He's going to take a look. Yeah. You know, but it was so crazy. Like you just come up behind people, not even going that fast. You just come up behind them. And you'd see them see you in their mirror. Blinker goes on, they're in the other lane. It was. I was drunk with power. That's why I had to get rid of it and get my An appliance. Yeah. Also because I wanted a car.
Now everybody's getting those Explorers, those white Ford Explorers.
Yeah, because that's the.
The
Troopers are half of them, half of them are the Caprices, which is the Holden, Holden Commodores.
There is a law in Pennsylvania that all state employee vehicles have to be American made, so we do not get them. They're all Jersey cars.
Really?
Or they're American. You will not find that Caprice PPV in Pennsylvania.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a law that has to be American.
Because even though it's got a Chevy badge on it, it's still Holden. They consider that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's all Ford vehicles in Pennsylvania. With the exception of maybe some local departments that are running.
So it's like Tauruses, Explorers, the handful of Interceptors left, I imagine.
Yeah. Like our town, like you walk by all the Pennsylvania police barracks, it's going to be Ford vehicles.
Interesting. I mean, the Interceptor owned basically 20 years.
Yeah.
Of the police. Yeah.
See, Burgundy Burnouts. Aaron. We got to start wrapping this up soon. I'm going to get the sign.
Do you want me to read this one?
Yeah, you can read that one.
From
I have to pee.
Okay. So that was Aaron Krynak. I have a shitted up CL175, a PX125. Oh, this is a bike guy. A Nighthawk 250 and a base model 07 Caravan in all of its dodgy pre-bailout glory. I'm near pipes, and I should email you about this. Yes, Aaron, thank you for your $10. Yes, email, I forget, email regular car reviews with, I believe it was make, model, year, and he will check it out and see if he can do something for you. Thank you for the donation. It's the Costanza. Says someone has a 2-engine Cavalier. It's a Costanza. You need to give us a link or send us that somehow. We need to see that. Crazy Ivan 2X. Is that Crazy Ivan as in Hunt for Red October? Thanks for the $2, man. Thoughts on the coming Jeep Wrangler truck? I've been hearing about a Jeep Wrangler truck for an awful long time, and I haven't seen one yet. Brian, have you heard anything actual about a Jeep Wrangler truck? I've heard a lot of rumblings over years.
Well, they were supposed to make the JK into a pickup truck. I have yet to see one in real life. I saw plenty of concept sketches. I've seen Nowadays with CGI, when I'm just scrolling through, I can't tell if it's a real one or if it's a mod.
I can tell ever if CGI is real or not.
Yeah.
Movie, Facebook.
No, it's just a picture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's a manufacturer concept,
Right.
so who cares?
Right.
There's nothing stopping them from doing it. And the Jeep guys would eat it up.
But do they have to? Because
That's a good question.
The Wrangler, you just take the top off and use the back seats. You got a Nemo is your next one there.
Nemo, buy a Daihatsu Rocky, yes or no? Yes. Like, if you're going to get into the JDM stuff coming in, even like Dacia Sandero or something, you're going to have something.
James May's favorite car.
There you go.
Good news.
Good news. Like, here in the United States, it's a little bit exotic, and there'll be someone on like, worst case scenario, you buy a Daihatsu Rocky, you put it up on Bring a Trailer, you make your money back.
I love, there's a Daihatsu or Nissan Cappuccino?
Yeah.
They have the greatest names, the
Suzuki.
K-cars.
Suzuki Cappuccino.
Yeah, Suzuki Cappuccino, that's what it was. Oh, they're incredible. Like 3-cylinder turbos.
It's the same engine that goes in the AutoZam. AutoZam is amazing, and I do not fit in it.
No, they are.
It's like I was scary.
Small. That's like a 1,200-pound car, right? I mean, they're.
You're like this. The tiny.
It's a shoe. It's a roller skate.
Yeah,
it's a roller skate. Yeah.
It's freaking amazing, and it's completely unsafe in the United
Burgundy
States.
Burnouts, bringing the noise back.
All-wheel drive EJ25 out of a 2016 STI.
Jesus.
Lifted, bash bar, off-road lights, tow hitch, big snow tires, calling it the Firebird STI. And after that, I'll do a rear engine, rear-wheel drive. I haven't decided on the engine yet for that 02 Firebird yet.
Interesting.
I love it.
So for the Firebird race series, they have the Firehawks, right? So what if you called that the Firebrew?
Firebrew.
Or the Firejap?
Firebird
STI is probably a better name.
Firebird STI.
That is insane. So somebody wrecked their 16 STI and you got the motor out of it.
Suberbird. Subibird.
Superbird.
Suberbird. Is Subibird? Suberbird.
I like Superbird.
Sububird.
Play on the old Daytona Superbird.
Oh,
that's quality.
Superbird.
You're welcome.
Firebird STI.
Regular car
Subaru
reviews.
Firebird STI. Superbird.
That is incredible. Burgundy Burnouts, my hat is off to you. My hat is literally off to you, sir.
I forget if he's in the East Coast or not, if we can see this thing when it's done.
We need to be sent a link of some kind.
Off man. Not really a long-time fan. Okay. But what if they started making cars like they did when it was easy to work on them? Are you going? Okay, first of all, cars have to meet safety standards
and emission standards.
Yeah,
which is really the working on part.
That's yeah.
And fuel economy, cafe standards.
Right.
Obama hashtag.
Your way around that is a delightfully two-word. There are two words that work away. There are two words that allow you to detour around all your problems. Kit car. Then you don't have any of that.
Okay, just to be clear, that doesn't divert around all your problems. It diverts around those problems. Mm-hmm. Kit cars provide their whole own set of problems, which I found in building a Factory 5 818.
Oh,
which
really?
Is not just a Subaru with some body panels and a two-frame chassis on it. It was not
so
fun
stuff didn't fit.
No, and nothing fit. Literally nothing fit. This is I hate to be a little bit mean here to the American market, okay? But American aftermarket stuff, in my experience, on old stuff or kit car stuff. So we're talking pre-70 American muscle or Factory 5 818. And I've got one of the early models, like the first 12 months of production. Nothing fit. Nothing worked. Everything had to be made. Like, you have to be a fabricator. You have to have a CNC shop. Like, the guys who are building them have CNC shops. They're professional fabricators. They're race car builders. Like, it was not what a Factory 5 is supposed to be, which I believe they've done a great job branding of, you know, the backyard mechanics, kit car. Probably for their previous models, the factory, the Cobras and Daytonas, like they've done tons of them.
Yeah,
it's pretty standard. But for a car that was supposed to be their first single donor car, which was the 818 kit car, was supposed to be the first single donor by a WRX.
What does single donor mean?
Single donor, one donor car. All the Cobras,
yeah,
you could do it any number of ways. Fox body, Jaguar XJ,
okay.
Jaguar XJ rear with a Fox body front. Like, you could do any parts you wanted, basically, from a number of different vehicles. Obviously, a lot of them were from Fox body Mustangs.
Oh, okay.
But the 818 was supposed to be the first single donor car. And thank God for my amazingly generous and awesome friend, Henry, who bankrolled that project.
Yeah.
And then took it off my hands after we finished it.
Okay.
Meaning it ran and drove. But it was not a race car yet.
No.
It was never again.
Mm.
They looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a Subaru in a tubular frame kit car. It's an American kit car that tried to put a Subaru running gear on it.
Okay.
Unsuccessfully.
Okay.
Fair warning.
Fair
Maybe better
warning
now.
to
That was
Oaf
like
Man.
3 years ago. Yeah.
Was these to work on them? Are you gonna do a 240Z?
Ooh, I love those. How do you find one without rust in this area?
I know. That's something we would get if we go to SoCal or even in Texas, maybe Texas.
Yeah. Texas is where some of my favorite donor cars come from.
Oh, good.
Because the paint will be destroyed, but you could wrap them or paint them.
Yeah.
But they're completely immaculate underneath. Like, it's them in California cars. Like, it's not even fair.
Great.
Yeah.
I should look. You know, when I went on Craigslist looking for turbo Foresters with 5 speeds, second gen post facelift, which means 2006 to 2008. That's my window to find turbo Foresters.
But it wasn't a Hawkeye because that was only the
It was a Forester.
Yeah. But the facelift version, yeah.
Right. They didn't have those headlight. That was just the Imprezas. Even though technically a Forester is an Impreza, they had completely different front ends.
Yeah.
And a completely different nose hood.
But mechanically.
Not a whole lot of them in Texas. Not a whole lot of Foresters in Texas.
I believe it. Not really the Texas crowd.
No.
6-speed Dodge Rams.
Yeah.
Cummins. You'll find those in Texas.
Yeah.
And it's, in fact, the only place you could buy one from without, that had quarter panels.
Right. Tesla drivetrain on a DeLorean. Perfect. DeLoreans need to be electric.
That's a great idea. And tweet Elon Musk about that.
Yeah. I think this reaches the end. We've been going for 5, 6, 7. This is over 2 hours now.
Yeah, just after 5 probably, I think.
Yeah. I think we're going to wrap this thing up. Thank you, everybody who's watching this. Once again, Justin Burnash from Prime Driven. Everything you need for your MR2 project or even an MR2 regular stock car you just need parts for. That is primedriven.com. East Coast guy, Stanhope, New Jersey. Yeah, and goodbye Livestream. Yep, it's the Costanza. It's the Costanza staying with us since the beginning. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Bringing the heat.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Not Houston anymore. Don't have any rear brakes. What safety? I just crapped my broken brake line. Am I something else? Burgundy Burnouts says, you'll be the first to see it, located in Nashville, Tennessee. Same place where I bought my my Falcon. My Falcon has to return to Nashville, return to the previous owner. I'll hold off posting anything about it when it's done so you can come get a review. And feel free to post stuff about it. That's how we got the big hit when we did that 2JZ swap Subaru Impreza. Yeah, it was already a big hit on a bunch of websites. Who the frick did this? And they got eyeballs on their car for just asking $150,000 for it that they weren't going to get. But it was a thing.
That's just good, brilliant marketing. We call that a pattern interrupt.
Oh.
If you see the title, $150,000 Subaru,
yeah,
you're going to click.
Yeah.
It's just what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Just like if we did 1,200 horsepower MR2, people are going to click on that.
Yeah.
It would be lies because I don't know how to build 1,200 horsepower MR2.
Yeah.
But there are guys out there, I'm sure they can. But yeah, no, that was brilliance.
Yeah.
Brilliant grassroots marketing.
Yeah. So take, I don't know what, all-wheel drive Firebird or Subaru Firebird or off-road Firebird.
I mean, I think the Superbird.
Superbird.
You'd have to get it though. You'd have to know what a Superbird was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to play with that. How much power is this gonna have? Burgundy Burnouts.
EJ25 7. I don't know if that's turbo or not.
450 wheel unopened on a turbo. I believe that's the turbo.
There are already 1,000.
I mean, why would you not put it in turbo motor?
Yeah. But it's horsepower is not going to grab it because there's already 1,000 horsepower Firebirds.
Yeah, it's got to be something weird. I mean, but it is weird. It's a Subaru and a Firebird.
You'd have to have the image of that throwing rooster tails from all four wheels, drifting in snow, all-wheel drive Firebird.
There's your angle. Yeah, one of those Subaru guys, like when it snows, shots of them doing donuts.
Yeah.
But you're in a Firebird.
Yeah.
All thread limiter the whole time. Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for liking regular car reviews. Thank you to everybody who donates on Patreon for allowing us to have the budget of a channel twice our size. And I'll see everybody who comes out to RCR Austin at the On It offices. That is the 20th of... Just waiting for the Harley. The 20th, I believe the 20th of October. Now I have to check. One sec. Let me just grab it. Sorry, I closed the chat window.
I just want to say thanks, Brian, for having me on. It was an awesome time, as always. And thanks, guys, for stopping by. Thanks to the MR2 guys for the MR2 questions, and everybody else for the awesome support and the great donations. We appreciate that.
It is the On It offices in Austin, Texas. That's where we're going to be on the 20th of October. Thank you, guys. Have a very good night. See ya.